7 games.
What we've got to do is just get back to winning football games, meaningful football games, pressure games. This is December. This is when it counts.
The Los Angeles Raiders face Don Shula's Miami Dolphins on ABC Monday Night Football.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready for Frank and Al and Dan and an East-West show? We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. I bet you're ready for some football. The Raiders and the Dolphins are coming your way. It's Monday Night Football and it's time to play.
Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, Florida, on a great night for football. A capacity crowd tonight. 2 longtime rivals meeting once again. The Los Angeles Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. Both very much alive in the NFL playoff picture. The Dolphins and the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Welcome to Miami. The Raiders and the Miami Dolphins, they've met so many times in the past. Both in the playoffs. Miami in good shape. They are 8-5, even though they have faltered over the past few weeks. They trailed Buffalo at 10-4 in the AFC Eastern Division, but the Dolphins know that if they can win 2 of the next 3 games, they are automatically in as a wild card no matter what happens. But if they can win all 3 of their games, and Buffalo should lose either to New Orleans or Houston, a tough schedule for Buffalo, both on the road, then they would be the division champions. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Raiders, tougher road to hoe. They are 6-7 in the AFC Western Division. Kansas City on top with the San Diego Chargers at 9-5. So they are going to need some help. And they have a tough schedule, too, these Raiders, Al. They play Miami tonight, then they go home, play San Diego. They lost to them 27-3 a couple of weeks ago. Then they play Washington on the road. It's going to be difficult.
If they don't make the playoffs, Frank, they can look back to the beginning of the season. They were 0-4. They're still trying to get out of that hole. Since then, they have won 6 of 9. They began the season with Jay Schrader at quarterback. They went to young Todd Marinovich. They're back to Schrader, who's probably playing as well as he's played since he joined the Raiders 4 years ago. Meanwhile, Eric Dickerson seems to be revitalized at running back. He looks good. 1 week the Raiders look great. The next week they look awful. That's the story of their season, inconsistency. Again, the question tonight, which Raider team shows up? And tonight, Dan, they face the Dolphins, a team doing some very strange things on the field and off the field.
How far away, Al, must that 6-0 start seem for these Miami Dolphins? It must seem like last season rather than the start of this season. As Frank mentioned, 2-5 since then, and really kind of accentuated by the loss last week out at Candlestick Park. They were beaten by the 49ers 27-3, and it wasn't a question of maybe leaving my heart in San Francisco. Maybe they never took their heart to San Francisco. Don Shula said it's one of the very worst games any of my teams have ever played. The defense is not happy with the fact the offense isn't scoring points. Some players like Mark Clayton are even openly questioning some of the coach's decisions, even pointing a finger at Don Shula. This is a team that desperately needs a win tonight. Granted, 2 of the next 3, if they win, put them in the playoffs. But if they lose tonight to the Raiders, don't bet on them winning the last 2. It's going to be tough for Miami. They need a win tonight badly.
And they'll try to do it before a capacity crowd at Joe Robbie Stadium on a near perfect night. Temperature in the 70s, no rain in sight, very little humidity. Don Shula, for the 23rd consecutive year, the head coach of the Dolphins, 30 years overall as a head coach in the National Football League. No burnout for Don Shula, ever. And the Dolphins to kick off, Pete Stoyanovich, one of the best place kickers in the league, and a man who can really boom them, even though he has only 15 touchbacks out of 67 kickoffs, to put it in the air. And back deep to receive, Alexander Wright, number 89, who came from the Cowboys in mid-year, and Napoleon McCallum closest to you. There's McCallum, the former Navy star. Ready to go from Miami. The Dolphins 8-5. The Raiders 6-7. And the kickoff comes down to the 3-yard line. This is Alexander Wright, who's a real speedster, getting banged to the turf at the 27-yard line. Wright last winter won the NFL's fastest man competition. And here comes Jay Schrader. Schrader has been, as we said at the top, playing very well of late and playing very efficiently. Last week under 100 yards, but he threw for 3 touchdowns against Kansas City. Dickerson and Smith start in the backfield. Galt and Brown the wideouts. Horton is the tight end. Wilkerson, Wisniewski, Mosbar, Montoya, and McElroy, a very veteran offensive line up front. That's Willie Galt in motion. And the Raiders begin on the ground with Dickerson taking it out to the 30-yard line. Dolphins play a base 3-4, sometimes switch to a 4-3, and they'll look like this a lot tonight along the front with Cross, Klingbeil, and the good-looking rookie Marco Coleman out of Georgia Tech. Then Griggs, Grimsley, Hollier, the rookie, starting at inside backer, and Brian Cox outside, with Offerdahl inactive again tonight. Troy Vincent, a rookie, with J.B. Brown at the corners. Williams and Oliver are the safeties. And time out on the field as Reggie McElroy, number 77, is shaken up along the Raider offensive front, where they already have Steve Wright, another would-be starter, on injured reserve.
It's a thin offensive line for the Raiders, especially, as you said, Al, at tackle. Greg Skrepenik, the rookie from Michigan, is back there as well. And is he the guy that's been inserted into the line? Yes, there's Skrepenik, number 78, over at right tackle. So the Raiders are down to a rookie in the line on only the second play of the game.
From the 30-yard line at 2nd and 7 is Tim Brown, the former Heisman Trophy winner, is in motion. A toss to Dickerson, and he can't get outside because of Marco Coleman, the rookie. And that is a play that has worked so well of late for the Raiders as Dickerson gets outside, but not this time. Coleman is right there.
Well, Coleman was drafted really as an outside linebacker. They moved him to defensive end about 3 or 4 weeks into the season. There he plays off the block and shows the quickness that a linebacker has. He has great pursuit.
Frank, that's a play you have to audible out of. When Coleman's lined up that wide, you can't block the guy.
No way Wilkerson could have got out to get him.
No way. When you see the defensive end that far out, the pitch coming right at him is a dead play.
3rd down and 12 at the 25-yard line. Marcus Allen, who comes in 3rd down situations, in the backfield, sent out into the pattern. Schrader stepping up, throws over the middle into a lot of traffic and threads it into Marcus Allen, who somehow is able to make the catch amongst a trio of Dolphins, but a little short of the 1st down up at the 36-yard line. It'll be 4th and 1.
Marcus, the intended receiver, all the way by Schrader. Look, he's locked up with his eyeballs on Marcus right there. Good coverage on Marcus. It's no secret when he comes into the backfield that he is going to be the prime receiver coming out of the backfield. This time he had 3rd and about 13 or 14. He just didn't pick up the yardage.
And Kerry Glenn of the Dolphins was the one who took the big hit from one of his own men.
Jeff Gossett sends it to the Miami 23, where it's fair caught by Scott Miller. That's where the Dolphins will take over for the first time tonight. 2 minutes and 17 seconds into the game in Miami.
There we were, a jillion miles outside of the hood. The bus got a flat, got no jack. Homie's got to cut his grass. What's up?
4.5. EP 4.5 here down. 5, 6 dollars. Sold.
The man's round sells, but he's got no beat.
Pardon me.
That was death. Huh?
Yo, MC Cow Seller, but fresh.
This man's incredibly close, comfortable shave comes from the Norelco razor. But to see how he got it, we must go back to when he began shaving. Not just above the skin, but below it. Here, our lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can drop below skin level without the blades touching your face. Try it, and you'll keep going back to Norelco for a perfect shave. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
The new Nissan Altima comes equipped with liquid-filled engine mounts that significantly reduce vibration and engine noise.
Haven't I seen this before?
And while you've seen a demonstration like this done for a luxury car before...
I thought so.
You've never seen it done for one that starts at $13,000.
That's refreshing.
The new Nissan Altima. It's time to expect more from a car.
Marino at the helm for the Dolphins, who incredibly have scored only 2 touchdowns in the last 14 quarters. 21 TDs, 12 interceptions. Mark Higgs and Tony Page start in the backfield. The Marks brothers outside, Duper and Clayton. Keith Jackson came over in October. Webb, Sims, Ulanake, Galbraith, and Dellenbach, the interior 5. First down, Miami at the 23. No score, early first quarter. Marino begins with a play fake, a lot of protection, and the pass caught at the 35-yard line by Mark Clayton, who's been quite vocal about not being a big enough part of the offense. So they start with a pass to Clayton.
You think that was by chance?
Yeah.
Boy, how lucky that Mark Clayton gets the first pass of the game.
Defensively, Long, Broughton, Harrison, and Townsend. And in pass rush situations, we'll see Anthony Smith, and he's been great. Wallace with Bell and Moss. Ricky Ellison inactive tonight, foot injury. So Bell starts in the middle. McDaniel's having a Pro Bowl type year. Washington in the other corner. The veteran Ronnie Lott and Eddie Anderson are the safeties. After a 12-yard gain on first down, this is Higgs. And the Dolphins trying to regenerate their running game. Last week they started Bobby Humphrey at San Francisco. That didn't work. Tonight they go back to Mark Higgs.
And of course, Bobby Humphrey has had a flu problem over the course of the week. He missed a couple of practice sessions. He was not scheduled to start, however, as they go back to what worked for them in the first 6 games of the season when Higgs was tearing things up. They were talking about a 1,000-yard rusher for the first time since '78. And all of a sudden, things just ground to a halt.
2nd and 7 at the 37-yard line. They send Page in motion. He either blocks or catches passes. Higgs stretching for what he hopes is the first down. He's very close. They'll spot it at the 44. He appears to be a little short, and that's going to set up a 3rd and inches. Eddie Anderson makes the tackle, and they'll take a closer look. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Nissan. It's time to expect more from a car. By Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By Norelco patented lift and cut shavers, we make clothes comfortable. And by Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
That's for Mark Higgs wishes that he was a little taller than 5'7". Oh.
Real good look at the measurement.
5'8" might have got him first down.
Just a good night's sleep.
Hanging in the gravity boots might have done it as well. A talented group of running backs here for Miami in their versatility. They all can block fairly well. They all are good receivers. And as we touched on earlier, Higgs got off to the dynamic start, still capable in reality of getting to 1,000 yards. He had 718 coming in. Of course, there's a good look at Tony Page, the guy that makes it all happen. One of the fine lead blockers in the NFL today.
And maybe the best receiver out of that backfield.
We looked into the face of Howie Long, having a tremendous year in his 12th year in the league. 3rd, and it might be a singular inch. And Higgs gets it. Well, at least he got a few inches, and all he needed was 1 first down. Winston Moss is there to make the tackle, and the Dolphins maintain possession with 10:54 remaining in a scoreless first quarter.
And you heard the crowd give a nice ovation. I think that was directed toward the Dolphin offensive line. They've been under a lot of fire lately for the lack of production. Dan Marino has been getting pummeled in the pocket. The running game is non-existent. And I think Ulanake, who's back and beginning to get healthy, is a wonderful addition for that group. You see Ulanake there pointing out the blocking and calling the assignments to the other offensive line, his line mates. This is a good group, but they haven't played well lately.
Good protection, and the pass is caught at the 35-yard line by Keith Jackson, and it takes 3 Raiders to bring them down.
Good read by Marino. Raiders coming with a linebacker, and Jackson slid out to the left, and Marino kind of eased out of the pocket until he opened up. Big and powerful, 250-pounder. You can't cover him with Aaron Wallace, the linebacker, number 51. And so many teams have tried this over the years, and Keith Jackson will kill a linebacker. And you saw him cover up the football at the end. He had a little problem in bobbling that ball in the past couple of games.
27-yard gain. The ball is at the LA 27, first down. Here's Higgs trying to follow Page, and then he cuts it back, and Ronnie Lott comes in to make the tackle at the 23 after a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Now there's a 3-yard gain that may end up being Higgs' best run of the night, because he was confronted immediately with Howie Long in the backfield and was able to escape him and get positive yardage. That was a nifty piece of work. Howie Long, I thought a couple years ago he'd been racked by injuries and his performance was down. I thought maybe he was at the end of his career, and here he is in his 12th year having one of the best years he's ever had. Howie Long deserves a Pro Bowl shot this year. That's what kind of year he's had.
Called it 2nd and 6 at the 23-yard line. Higgs behind a Page block gets to the 20, and Anthony Bell sends him backward. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Mark Higgs, and Dan talked about it, the first 9 games averaging 65 yards per game, almost 66. But over the last 4, a whole other story. And tonight, 12 yards on his first 4 rushes. 3rd and 3 at the 20. 8:20 to go. First quarter, no score. Jackson in motion. They give it to Higgs. He runs into Page. And also Ronnie Lott, who comes up from the secondary and also helping to break up the play.
Ronnie Lott played that absolutely like a linebacker from about 10 yards deep, read the play. He's been reading them for about 12 years on his way to Canton, Ohio. He hit that gap at the same time as Higgs, and they just stopped right in the hole. And Higgs he's got that low center of gravity. Watch Ronnie Lott. Perfectly timed out. Read the play perfectly and just stood Higgs up in the hole and stopped him.
And you can't account for him. I mean, how do you work a guy into your blocking scheme that's 12 yards off the ball?
Here's a 37-yard field goal attempt, which is a chip shot for Stoyanovich normally, but not tonight. That's only the 2nd kick of less than 50 yards he has missed this season. A 36-yard attempt officially wide left. Strange beginnings in Miami when he misses. 7:28 to go, first quarter.
The new Nissan Altima comes equipped with liquid-filled engine mounts that significantly reduce vibration and engine noise.
Haven't I seen this before?
And while you've seen a demonstration like this done for a luxury car before,
I thought so.
You've never seen it done for one that starts at $13,000.
That's refreshing.
The new Nissan Altima. It's time to expect more from a car. Far from Bourbon Street, in its own little corner of the Garden District, is the most fabled house in New Orleans, the Maple Street Children's Bookshop, where the folks who write the books also read them. So if you go, bring your wildest imagination and your Visa card, because at Maple Street they'll take you on a truly magical journey, but they won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
This is the Temple of Flight, home of the sky and mighty. Come, witness aerialism.
I jam, therefore I am.
So ended the lesson.
Dallas does prime time. They're both young and hungry, out to make some noise. Don't miss this matchup, the Falcons and the boys.
Now you're looking at Fred Couples, he along with Tom Kite, Nick Faldo leading the group, competing for the Johnny Walker World Championship this weekend on ABC Sports.
A perfect swing, Freddie Couples.
Raiders at the 20 after the missed field goal by Stoyanovich, and Eric Dickerson has no room to roam. It'll be 2nd and 9 after a gain of 1. Dwight Hollier, a rookie from North Carolina, who's filling in the middle because John Offerdahl is hurt. Offerdahl missing several games, and there is Hollier with a pulled abdominal muscle. Tried to play last week, went about a quarter and a half, and there he is tonight in civvies.
The most frustrating of injuries. I mean, you just can't see it. It's not visible. It's not tangible, and yet it's keeping Offerdahl on the sidelines. And now the question has to be raised, is John going to be effective for the Dolphins the rest of the season and even into the playoffs? It's a type of injury that takes months to get over.
2nd and 9 from the 21-yard line. Here's Dickerson following Smith. And he picks up about 3 to the 24-yard line. Cross and Vincent converge on the tackle.
I think we're seeing a statement here being made by Miami, both on their offensive line of scrimmage and here by their defense, as we see their coordinator, Tom Olivedati. The Raiders believe that the reason they have this remarkable record against the Dolphins is because they are more physical, that they are tougher, that they win the battle on the line of scrimmage. And I think we're seeing tonight a real effort by the Dolphins to counteract that they feel now that they are more athletic, they are more physical, and they're going to try to compete on that level with the Raiders. And they have normally lost at that game.
On 3rd down and 6, Schrader fires a bullet to the 37-yard line, and Willie Gault is there to make the catch as he got position on Stephen Braggs to convert. 1st down, LA.
That kind of illustrates to me how Schrader has come on over the past few weeks. There's nothing frantic about this. Here, roaring by as Coleman even got a hand on his jersey. Schrader just stepped up very calmly, delivered the ball in perfect position so it wouldn't be deflected or intercepted, and the Raiders get a 1st down. But Schrader has played really well over the past few weeks. It just looks like a different person out there. He's not nervous, he's not bouncing around the pocket, and he's put up some major numbers.
First time in his career he's completed 2/3 of his passes 2 weeks in a row. From the 37-yard line, there's the fake to Dickerson, and that buys time, and over the middle, the pass is too high, intended for Tim Brown at the 40 of Miami. Troy Vincent with the coverage.
Tim Brown playing on a very sore ankle, but he was open there, and Schrader just overthrew the ball. Again, Schrader with time to deliver it. This is a team that really destroyed Kansas City last week. They did it early and just kept right on doing it.
Well, we mentioned at the beginning of the game they can look great. They look great against Buffalo. They beat them 20-3. They look great against Kansas City. And they can look terrible as they did 2 weeks ago against San Diego, for instance. On 3rd and 9, Schrader guns one out to the 48-yard line, and Brown makes the catch there. Takes a vicious hit, but holds on, and a 1st down. Louis Oliver.
I mean, that's why people love the game of football. A perfect throw, a perfect catch, and played beautifully defensively. I mean, this is just good football by everybody involved.
Watch Brown now hold on to the football. He knows he's going to get hit right here. Pulls it right into the chest. No matter how hard you're going to hit him, it's not going to come out of there. And Louis Oliver hits with the very best of him. That's a shoulder hit to shoulder, if you're worried about helmet on helmet.
I mean, that's the way professionals play the game of football, and they earned their money on that play. Well done.
4:40 to go, 1st quarter, no score at the 48-yard line. Dickerson, well, he can't get untracked, and Cox is there to knock him down behind the line of scrimmage. Brian Cox.
Brian Cox has 11 sacks on the year, an interception, and keep in mind this is just his 2nd year in the National Football League. Comes from one of the great high school programs in America, East St. Louis High School, and look at fighting off the block of Steve Smith and in on the tackle.
Get the sacks. That was a great play of the run.
This is one of the fine 5th-round draft choices that's panned out for anybody in this league in quite a while.
2nd and 14 at the 45-yard line. Schrader showing good mobility. And then he runs out of bounds up at the 48-yard line. Vincent running him out at that spot. .345 to go in the 1st quarter. But in the history of the National Football League, 132 teams have begun the season 0-4. None has reached the playoffs. That's going to probably end this year. San Diego is nearly a shoo-in. The Chargers have played brilliantly, and the Raiders are also trying to become another team to do it. But as we said at the beginning, they need to win 3, and they need some help.
7 DBs now for Miami.
3rd and 10. Schrader, and the ball started to slip out as he came forward. Ethan Horton was the intended receiver, and the Raiders can't convert, and they'll be forced to punt.
Little game of chess that was won at that point by Tom Olivedati, the defensive coordinator. Good blanket coverage. He brought in 7 defensive backs. Tough to throw against that. A 3rd and long. Schrader slipping on Just as he was going to release it, but there was good coverage. That would, even though it could have been completed, it would not have been a first down.
But that was the reason for him throwing the ball into the dirt. His lead foot just skated right out from under him. Jay probably wearing those smaller rubber cleats rather than grass spikes.
Jeff Gossett to punt. Scott Miller back to accept it. Miller is inside his 10 and makes the catch at the 6. And normally the rule of thumb is if it's inside the 10-yard line, let it go. He'd have been better advised to do that because he only gets back to the 15 instead of a potential touchback.
If I want to keep playing baseball, I'm going to have to keep working. There's no off season anymore. And when I get sore, I take Advil. To last, you stick with what works.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I feel Denorex tingling on this side, nothing on the head and shoulder side. I love that tingle, so I tried Denorex for my dandruff. It really came through. The flaking stopped, my scalp doesn't itch.
Denorex with conditioners, the serious dandruff shampoo.
I've switched to Denorex.
Surprisingly powerful. Nissan Quest V6 engine has more punch than a schoolyard bully. Incredibly responsive. With front-wheel drive, it makes other minivans feel like a school bus. Quest meets the tough federal passenger car safety standards. Exactly.
The Nissan Quest. It's time to expect more from a minivan. Bring the kids in for a test drive. We'd love to know what they think.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Sony introduces the new standard in television. Trinitron XBR Squared.
Hey, look! It's the Grand Canyon!
It'll change the way you feel about everything you see. From Sony.
Tuesday, Roseanne guest stars with Jackie.
I love you, Jackie.
It's an all-new Jackie Thomas.
It's like we share one brain. Who's got it right now?
Tuesday after Roseanne.
There's a look at Troy Aikman. We will see Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys next Monday night at the Georgia Dome against Deion Sanders and the Atlanta Falcons. Monday Night Football from Atlanta next week.
Deion playing some wide receiver, caught a touchdown pass yesterday. So even though they're not winning, the Atlanta Falcons nonetheless still an exciting watch.
From the 15-yard line, there's Marino. Firing over the middle. Keith Jackson makes the catch, and Jackson takes it out to the 26-yard line. That's an 11-yard gain and a first down. Moss and Washington converge on the tackle.
Frank, I don't think that I'd really be all that interested in catching a ball in the middle of the field when Ronnie Lott is playing.
Well, if you're 6'2" and 250, it helps a lot. Even Ronnie might have second thoughts about really unloading on you, although I doubt it.
Every time he arrives, the other guy ends up going backwards. Here comes Ronnie Lott, and look at the hit. He is the only Raider that hit Keith Jackson and knocked Jackson backwards.
6'2", 250 Jackson. He took the shot.
2:25 to go. No score first quarter. Here's Haig. Out to the 34-yard line he goes. That's a gain of 8. Moss and Bell converge on the tackle.
Well, if you're going to run to the left side behind the Dolphin line, you're running behind their power, behind Webb and Sims, and that's exactly where Higgs blasted that time. They've really based their offensive future around these two guys on the left side, both in their third year. Sims 69, Webb 78, and look at the blocking they get. Richmond Webb, a fine job on Greg Townsend.
2nd and 2 at the 34-yard line. Higgs again. Hello, Howie Long.
Well, they had the good blocking at the point of attack, but nobody cut Howie Long, who knifed to the inside, and bang.
Well, Dellenbach tried to come down on him from the right tackle spot. He was way too late, as you can see. And Howie Long reading the play, catching the motion of the backs out of the corner of his eye, and he's so quick still along that line of scrimmage, and this is 12th year.
What a competitor. There's Anthony Smith, who checks into the game, the pass rushing specialist for the Raiders. He's got 13 sacks on the year.
And he only plays in pass rush situations.
He plays 12, 17, 15 plays a game.
3rd and 4. And Marino's pass is caught by Tony Martin. for a first down up at the 41-yard line.
The Raiders love to play that tight defense on sure pass situation. And they were right up on Tony Martin. Good read between Marino and Martin. Martin just slanting in. It was kind of hard to cover him. You're in man for man. He comes in on a straight slant. You do the best you can with it. And that's not good enough, as Dan Land was in not bad position. Pass perfectly thrown for the first down.
Dan Land not only gets beat for the completion, he then has to suffer Ronnie Lott coming in, and Lott misses the receiver and pummels Land.
Waning seconds of the quarter. Marino a perfect 5 for 5. Being chased, and he runs out of bounds. And there's a flag down. It's the first flag of the contest, and it comes 14 minutes and 54 seconds into it. Red Cashin is our referee tonight.
Dan's having a big year running the football.
Yeah,
of course that's the good news. And the bad news, he has to. He's been sacked 25 times this year, and his biggest season is 27.
Well, you can have an automatic first down here. Defensive holding.
I think Keith Jackson was the tight end coming across the middle. He might have been held.
Winston Moss, I think, got a hold of him. That's who they were pointing at, the linebacker.
Red Cashin, I'm convinced a frustrated square dance caller will tell us it's a first
holding
down.
by the defense. Number 99. 5 yards added on to the play. First down.
All right, Red.
I love Red Cashin.
And do-si-do. Grab your woman and swing her around.
And he'll start the clock here. That's going to be the end of the quarter.
Take her across the floor and pick up a first down.
We're going to the barn. End of the period, no score. And back we come with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Come to the tent meeting. Miracles in Wonders.
Steve Martin's got the critics believing in Leap of Faith. 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. A brilliant blend of romance, comedy, and music.
Yakety yak, God's talking back.
Steve Martin is awesome. His best work ever.
So I gotta let off some steam.
One of the season's best surprises. Compassion and bite. Savvy and soul.
Now let's go give some empty lives a little meaning.
Leap of Faith. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, December 18th.
There's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too.
Celebrate life with Eden Rock.
Guess what motor oil gives you unbeatable wear protection? Give them a clue, Bert. Quaker State. What motor oil is unsurpassed in preventing sludge buildup?
Quaker State.
Now, guess what motor oil Bert uses?
Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Good guess.
This is ABC.
McCain introduces the ultimate experience for French fry lovers. New McCain Ultimate Spiral Fries. Spicy battered, or with a unique crispy coating for an earth-shaking crunch and a taste that'll have you on the edge of your seat. Delicious new McCain Ultimate Spirals. Whoa. Experience them for yourself. McCain, the ultimate taste.
WVNY TV 22, Montreal's ABC television station.
We start the second quarter after a fast, scoreless opening quarter. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Deerdorf at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, which next spring will be the home of the National League expansion baseball team, the Florida Marlins. Dan Marino, 5 for 5, first down at the Raiders' 48-yard line, 1st and 10. And after we go through almost the whole first quarter without a penalty and get a flag at the end, we begin the second quarter with a flag.
Before the ball was snapped. False start. Number 88 on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
It's been happening with some frequency with Keith Jackson.
Well, that was a funny looking play. Keith Jackson looked like he moved with the ball. It's just nobody else moves. Let's watch.
Yeah.
See, that's Jackson isn't offsides there. It's just that none of the other Dolphin offensive linemen moved with the football, so it looked like he was offside. Yeah. He moved right with the football.
Bizarre.
Yeah, It shouldn't have been called, but you could see why it was.
1st and 15, and Marino gets sacked at the 41-yard line. That is Chester McLaughlin, their first-round draft choice, the rookie out of Clemson, who weighs in at about 315.
You know, and that's Dan Marino's 26th sack of the season. 27 is his all-time high, and I know you probably can remember listening to games when we talked about how his sacks were in single-digit numbers. 6 one year, 9 another year. Now this is 26 is one short of the all-time high. That's one of the problems with this offensive line that appears so good. The other is the fact that the longest run they've had from scrimmage is 22 yards.
He went right by Keith Sims, who was almost acting like he was expecting help to the outside, and there goes Richmond Webb with a false start.
Right after you caught a shot of John Sandusky, who works with the offensive line.
I mean, the last play where McLaughlin got the sack, Sims looked like he was expecting help from Webb.
Before the snap, false start, number 78 on the offense, 5 yards, still second out.
And then Sims and Webb talked in the huddle on the way up to the line of scrimmage, and now Richmond makes the mistake. And as I touched on earlier, that's the strength of their offensive line, those two players along with Ulenek. I think it's easier, guys, to make a false start when you're on that 2-point stance without a hand on the ground. I think it's easier to twitch and to make a false start.
2nd and 26. Long chases Marino, but the pass is caught for a minimal gain by Mark Clayton up at the 41-yard line.
Well, Howie is coming out of the blocks in a hurry. I mean, he has been a factor on about a half a dozen plays already. Whether they be hits in the backfield, pressures on the quarterback. That's an awful good start for the perennial Pro Bowler Howie Long. He's working on the right side. Number 65 there is Jeff Dellenbach, and he grabs on, holds on for dear life, long enough to allow Marino to get to the outside, and Dellenbach's lucky that he didn't get flagged for that.
3rd and 21. Marino is 6 for 6. The last time the Dolphins were on Monday night, he was 11 for his first 11. And now he's 7 of 7 as he hits Martin, but not enough for a first down. He can get it only to the Raider 45. He's about 7 yards short of the first down, and the Dolphins will be forced to punt for the first time in the game.
Well-designed play. They coming right underneath, almost a screen. Let's take a look at it. It really is amazing.
And guess who chases him down? Watch the hustle by Howie Long, number 75.
Well, look at that offensive line. They're leaving almost as a screen to get in front of the intended receiver. And Long just followed the convoy.
Yeah, I mean, that's exceptional hustle and speed by a defensive lineman, tracking down a wide receiver from behind.
Reggie Roby
is out of here.
Whoa.
Brown calls for a fair catch, but that's simply a fake. And as the Dolphins try to keep it from going into the end zone, they can't. Mike Williams was there, but the ball bounds over the goal line, and out to the 20 it will come.
That punt punched a hole in the ozone layer. That thing was up there.
Touchback with 12:37 to go in the half.
The NFL playoffs kick off January 2nd on ABC Sports.
Surprisingly powerful. Nissan Quest V6 engine has more punch than a schoolyard bully. Incredibly responsive. With front-wheel drive, it makes other minivans feel like a school bus. Quest meets the top federal passenger car safety standards. Exactly.
The Nissan Quest. It's time to expect more from a minivan. Bring the kids in for a test drive. We'd love to know what they think.
I have to go to the bathroom.
This is Pioneer Home Theater. With Laserdisc images 60% sharper than most VCRs, the world's leading AV receivers, speakers customized for home theater, and a big screen picture that's real as life. From the leaders in audio and video, home theater so advanced, you don't just watch it.
What'll it be, fellas?
Make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, this is the last one.
Well, I think I can take that one.
What do you want to give for it? I'm a 2 and a 10. Give me 10, a 20 big. Give me 20 now, 30. Give me 30 now, 40 big. Give me 40 now, 50. Give me 50 now, 60 big. Give me 60 now, 70. Give me 70 now, 80.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Bud Light, please. Sorry, boys. This is the last one.
Well, Marino and the Dolphins have scored only 2 touchdowns in 15 quarters now. No score. Raiders have it at the 20-yard line. The Raiders have had no running game to this point tonight. Dickerson -2 and 5 carries, and Eric nowhere to go here either. And that's a -1. So he's -3 for 6 carries.
So far, the Miami defense is doing what Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator, said we must do, and that is stop Dickerson. He said they've been looking at him, and as far as he's concerned, he's running as well as he did 5, 6, 7 years ago. He said he looks like the Dickerson of old. And the numbers bear that out, too. He's had a couple of big games.
Well, the Raiders have been going with Dickerson early. Then they used Nick Bell, the big fullback, second half. And then Marcus Allen, of course, for a couple of years now, reduced to the role of third down back.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah. 3rd, 2nd, and 11 from the 19-yard line. Schrader's pass is incomplete, intended for Steve Smith, who was a high school teammate of the Dolphins' Tony Page at DeMatha High outside of Washington, D.C. Red Cashin throwing a flag, or the crew anyway, and Red tells us, against the Raiders. There is Marcus Allen, who is utilized quite sparingly to his displeasure, extreme displeasure. Dickerson coming over, of course. Eric, the longtime Ram, into the Colts.
Pass interference. Number 88. That penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
They flag Ethan Horton, the tight end. He releases off the ball, makes some contact downfield, but it's of no consequence.
Raiders tight end, always a big player in the Raiders passing attack. Horton coming in tonight with 30 receptions. As Marcus checks in on the 3rd down situation.
3rd and 11 from the 19-yard line. Schrader, and that's too high, and it's tipped, and it's incomplete. Intended at the 38-yard line for Alexander Wright. He was covered by Jarvis Williams.
Like to think it was intended for him. It was thrown so far behind him and high that one suspects that maybe Schrader was just throwing it away.
It's the second time tonight that Schrader has challenged the middle of the field and thrown the ball high. Remember, he had Tim Brown wide open coming across the middle and floated it over his head as well. So
they won't make a lot of friends out of receivers.
No, the 2 times Jay has attempted to make a big one down the middle, the ball's gotten away from him. And it's unusually calm down here. No wind to speak of. Unusual for Joe Robbie Stadium.
Gossett to kick, and it's fair caught by Miller at the 41-yard line. A 40-yard boot. 11:33 remaining in the first half. Nothing.
Something to drink, sir?
Yeah, make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, we just ran out.
Oh. Excuse me.
Bud Light?
Try Flight 261 out of L.A.
Oh, thank you.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Do you have a Bud Light?
Yes. Welcome aboard, sir.
Great. Where are we going?
Until now, some thought imported luxury sedans possessed a higher level of engineering. But change is on the horizon. Introducing the 1993 Cadillac Seville STS with the North Star system. At its heart, a 295 horsepower North Star V8. So advanced, its first scheduled tune-up is 100,000 miles. The Cadillac Seville STS with the North Star system. Changing the way you think about American automobiles.
Here they come from Radio Shack. Radio-controlled cars for supercharged fun. The new fast Black Phantom burns up the straightaway.
Watch me make this turn.
The new twin-motor Blue Flash has super grip tread.
Hills are no problem.
As tough as they come, the 4x4 off-roader takes on the rough terrain. And the Jumbo van carries cargo with style.
I'm out of here.
Radio-controlled cars for kids big and small. From Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Marcus Allen, as we mentioned before, extreme displeasure as to his role, and he's felt that way for quite some time. He's been remarkably silent until now.
I've actually wanted to leave the Raiders since 1986. I didn't, my contract wasn't up until 88, so I never had said something prior to that. But after that, after the 88 season, I had made several requests and to be traded and to be released or cut, anything just to get out of there.
Well, that was one of the things Marcus said as we interviewed him over the weekend. And at halftime, we will talk with Marcus Allen as Marino on first down throws incomplete on 1st and 10 from the 41. But for years, there has been a perceived feud between Marcus and Al Davis, and both have remained relatively silent, neither talking about the extent or the depth of it. And Marcus Allen finally has come very public with it. And there is Al Davis, as always, in the press box looking on, and we will detail that at halftime tonight.
I think you can drop the perceived from that. I mean, it appears to be
oh, that legally is forget they've been battling.
I think it is just a feud.
From the 42-yard line, this is Mark Higgs taking it up to the 45-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Anthony Bell makes the tackle. 11:15 to go in the first half. Still 0-0.
Well, the Dolphins have been moving the ball on the ground. They opened this game with a very good-looking offensive drive that was fruitless when Stoyanovich missed a relatively easy field goal, and now they're faced with this 3rd down conversion that would put the ball into Raider territory if they do succeed. They have done an effective job on the line of scrimmage, except the last 2 times Marino's been under pressure and hit.
On 3rd and 6, Marino on a reverse roll throws, and it's caught by Martin at the 49. Doesn't have the first down. The spot, well, wait until they put the marker back there.
Well, the receiver's taught to come back to his quarterback, and I'm thinking the comeback here might have robbed Miami of their first down.
They're short.
Martin did the right thing. He came back to give Marino an angle to throw the football, and he is, you're right, Dan, taught to do that. Perhaps a little more presence of where he was would have made a major difference, but I think 4th down, short yardage, Dolphins are going to go for it. Either that or they're going to try to draw the Raiders off. There you see that Martin incoming back for it.
Boy, he made it,
short.
And now it looks like the Dolphins are going for it.
At least they're lining up, perhaps hopeful of inducing the Raiders to.
You're going to try to get somebody to jump off sides. You got to do it quicker than that. The play clock was down to 2 seconds, and Marino had no choice but to take the timeout.
You know what? I think that he just signaled the Raiders took the timeout. Well, we'll get it cleared up when we come back.
Well, if they did, it's a gift.
Not very bright either.
Until now, some thought luxury coupes forgot the driver. But change is accelerating. Introducing the Cadillac Eldorado Sport Coupe. It places emphasis on both sophisticated V8 performance and refined comfort. So it's not just in tune with the road, it's in tune with you. The Cadillac Eldorado Sport Coupe with the North Star system, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
It's 7:45. Let's take a look at rush hour traffic this morning.
Come on, get up. We're late. Great. After a memo yesterday about being late.
I'll get breakfast.
Breakfast? Are you kidding?
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars.
Here.
What's this?
It has real fruit in it. Taste it.
Plus a moist crust made with whole grain and no cholesterol. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars can really start your morning off right.
Good, huh?
Yeah. Come on, let's go. We're going to be late.
Calm down. They'll understand.
Honey, I sort of wrote the memo.
Oh.
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars. Start your morning off right.
What we need now is the beach.
And the brood. And the babes.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
During this holiday season, Pizza Hut is bringing back the Cheese Lovers Plus Pizza. Buy any large or medium pizza and get a medium Cheese Lovers Plus Pizza with your choice of 2 toppings for just $4.99. Sort of makes you wish it was Christmas all year round, but without the fruitcake.
The experts say Dallas is a team of destiny. But before they head to the playoffs, they visit Glanville's gang in Atlanta next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Well, the Dolphins were down to 2 seconds, but the Raiders were down to only 10 men on the field. So the Raiders are the team that called the timeout.
And now it is 4th down and a short yard at the 49, and Marino fumbles the ball and then lunges forward and picks up, I believe, the first down.
And I think he only got the first down because he's hit from behind by a Raider and knocks him for the first down. I think Dave Waymer hits Marino from behind and drives him for the Miami first down. Oh, that's pure luck.
Take it any way you can get it.
Yep.
Bobbled the ball, gets hit from behind, loses it there. Now watch Waymer come in. Bang, knocks him forward. First down, Miami.
An assist for Dave Waymer.
1st and 10 at the 48-yard line as Marino on a roll. As time completes it to the 40-yard line. The catch is made there by Mark Clayton, who's twisted to the ground by Bell.
Mark Clayton, the vocal one, has been making lots of noise here in Southern Florida about his lack of production. Only 34 catches coming into tonight. Another pair makes it an even 36, and he has really been talking about that guy a little bit, Don Shula. He's a thorn in Shula's side, and there's a lot of speculation here concerning the Dolphins as to whether or not Mark Clayton is going to be with this team next year. He's openly said, I want to be somewhere else.
2nd and 2 at the 40-yard line, and there's Higgs picking up 5 and a first down to the 35, tackled by Anthony Bell. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Cadillac, changing the way you think about American automobiles. 9 minutes left in a scoreless first half in Miami.
A lot of people, too, also think that Clayton has is saying the right thing. You're just saying it the wrong way, because the 2 outside receivers, Duper and Clayton, they are the 4th and 5th leading receivers on this Dolphin team. They're not used to that.
At the 35, Higgs. A gain of 7. It's an amazing thing, Frank, when you look at the Dolphins in terms of receptions, that the 3 leading receivers are 2 running backs and a tight end.
Tight end. It's never been that way. As long as Clayton has been here, you can understand it, but some of the way he goes about it will not make him too popular with Don Shula. And Don Shula has been known to unload his problems in the past. Humphrey, the leading receiver. Keith Jackson, who came in late. Clayton was vocal about that, too. He didn't like that.
And then to make it worse, Mark Duper falls in at number 4. Coming into tonight, Mark Clayton was the 5th leading receiver, and that is unfamiliar territory for number 83.
2nd and 4, Higgs again. And he's short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 upcoming. Winston Moss, pick number 99, wraps him up. Winston Moss, 6th year out of Miami. So he comes home. The Raiders don't come here that often, and the Dolphins are thankful for that, because through the years the Raiders have just beat up on the Dolphins.
What is it, 14-3-1, the series record? 14-3-1. That is domination, and these are the 2 winningest teams on Monday Night Football in the history of the series, and the Raiders are 4-0 against the Dolphins on Monday night. They've never lost.
3rd and a very long one at the 26-yard line. They have to get inside the 25, and they do. And plenty more from Mark Higgs as he takes it to the 17. He's tackled by Eddie Anderson.
Good tackle by Anderson. You missed that, and Higgs is in the end zone.
Beautifully blocked on the right side of the line. Credit Jeff Dellenbach, the right tackle. I think Sims came across with a trap, and this is as cleanly blocked. Oh, we'll get a good look at it here. Look at that hole right there.
Oh, that's textbook.
Nicely done. Galbraith put Anthony Bell on the ground. Good work by the right side of the Dolphin line that time.
Well, you draw that up just like that during the week.
They put Bobby Humphrey in the game now, number 44, the running back. He gets immediate action, and he can't get around Tony Page. Page engaged with Moss and Harrison, who converge on the tackle for the Raiders.
Higgs, as I mentioned, was out a couple of days with the flu, running a very high temperature, and they were a little bit concerned whether he'd be able to go tonight. Bobby Humphrey
is also a good receiver coming out of that backfield, perhaps a little better than Higgs.
Tony Page upset with himself, but boy, they were asking an awful lot of him that time to block Greg Townsend. I don't know you can line a running back up on the wing and expect him to drive a defensive end off the ball.
2nd and 11. No score in the game, but the Dolphins have gained 144 yards to this point. The Raiders 37. Marino guns it to the 10-yard line. That's Tony Page making the first down. Or he's close to it at the 8-yard line. Might be a little short.
When you have Page and Humphrey in that backfield as the two setbacks, Duper on one side, Clayton on the other end, the big tight end, Keith Jackson, you've got a load to cover. Page, a good receiver, a very unlikely looking one, I might admit, but a good one. Leading receiver a year ago from the backfield.
He's a classic case, Frank. You're right, of don't judge a book by a cover. When you go down on the field, Tony Page is not the one that you would pick out as the guy that you'd want to send out of your backfield.
He's the guy that Marino likes to go to.
They put it at the 9 where it's 3rd down and a very short 3, and Marino dumps it over the middle and incomplete, and he's lucky it wasn't picked by Winston Moss on the pass intended for Page. So on 4th and let's say 2.5, the Dolphins will send in the field goal unit. Stoyanovich has already missed one tonight.
Oh yeah, I think Page that time crossed Marino up, and Marino went right up and set something right into his face.
Stoyanovich this season, as we said before, coming into tonight's game, had missed only one kick less than 50 yards. He missed a 36-yarder on Miami's first drive. This one is 26 yards. And this one is good. So Stoyanovich puts the Dolphins on the board with 4:53 to go in the half. Miami ahead 3-0. And now it's time for our regular feature on what's new in the world of sports science and technology.
A look behind the scenes as sports and science converge, brought to you by AT&T. This summer, a unique swimsuit debuted in a pre-Olympic meet. The skin-tight suit is made of a tightly knit polyester polyurethane fiber that repels water better than other fabrics. Passive drag tests were performed at the U.S. Olympic Committee's swimming flume. When tested against a conventional suit, the new suit exhibited as much as 15% less resistance, allowing the swimmer to slide more easily through the water.
It couldn't have happened at a worse time for us. That's the week that we take more catalog orders on our 800 number than any other week of the year. No one can make it into work that day. AT&T saved the day for us.
We had designed their 800 service with such powerful backup features that within minutes, they were able to reroute their calls to other sites around the country. They did a full day of Christmas season business, and no one was there.
If you have a business that lives and dies by an 800 service, you go with the most reliable, and that's AT&T.
Until now, some thought imports wrote the book on handling, but change is just around the corner. Introducing the Cadillac Eldorado Touring Coupe with the North Star system. Its advanced road-sensing suspension reads the contours of the road automatically and adjusts instantaneously to put the fun back into driving. The Cadillac Eldorado Touring Coupe with the North Star system, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
A holiday in paradise.
Ah, humbugs. I'm supposed to leave in a couple of days. Could I borrow some sugar?
3 o'clock in the morning? Going to Extremes, Tuesday.
4:53 remaining in the first half, a very fast half at Joe Robbie Stadium. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. Miami ahead 3-0. Miami has outgained the Raiders by a better than 4-to-1 ratio in terms of yardage, and yet they lead only 3-0. Dolphins 8-5 coming in, but losing 5 of their last 7, and the Raiders 6-7, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Stoyanovich sends this one to the goal line. Alexander Wright, the former Cowboy, is tackled as he comes straight up the middle. Bernie Parmalee stops him at about the 20-yard line. 4:44 to go in the half, and the Raiders and Schrader down 3-0.
It was like some kind of bad dream. By the time Dad was finished, I was scared to death of buying a car. I've done this a half a dozen times, he goes. I know how these people operate. It would be obvious this was my first time, but it had to be done. The SS Rosie was sinking fast. So while everyone else was spending money, I made some. And when Dad announced he was coming along, I didn't stop him, as if I could have. After a few of those places, I was beginning to think Dad really knew what he was talking about. Scary, huh? Then I had this idea. Going in, Dad says, now don't act too interested. But when I drove the Saturn, that was it. He was supposed to do the talking. But there were no hassles, even over the price. So I bought one. Dad goes, well, it's a good thing you had me along. The thing about Dad is, he likes to feel useful, and that's cool.
Final question, ladies. How would you save the planet?
Tax credits for education.
Aggressive environmental legislation. Which planet?
Why do pageants still grade on a curve?
Queen of the entire planet.
Try a beer that drinks like a light with real draft taste. Bud Dry. With a beer this different,
What a surprise.
it's no contest.
An all-star international field battles it out in golf's richest event. Coverage of the Johnny Walker World Championship begins Saturday on ABC Sports.
And there's your lineup tomorrow night. A powerful lineup, as always, Tuesday night on ABC. A look at Tom Arnold, the star of the Jackie Thomas Show. New episode coming your way tomorrow. The full lineup on the right of your screen, beginning at 8 Eastern and Pacific time. Jay Schrader, 3 of 7, 36 yards. No running game thus far for the Raiders. Very little offense at all. They're down 3-zip. Schrader to the air. Schrader has it picked off.
Goodbye.
It is J.B. Brown going all the way.
Speaking of all the way, Schrader locked up on Tim Brown with his eyes all the way deep, square out. And you can cover a lot of ground if you're a defender. Willie Gault and Tim Brown, the two deep receivers, Gault over the left side, working against J.B. Brown. And look how deep he takes it. Schrader looking at him all the way here. A lot of time for J.B. to get back, make the interception. Steps in front of Gault. An easy sprint to the end zone.
Wasn't a real sharp break on the end of the pattern by Willie either.
Brown knew also he had deep help. Only two Raiders were in on that pass pattern, Brown and Gault. Consequently, both cornerbacks on the coverage knew they had deep help.
Stoyanovich for the point after. 10-zip, 35-yard interception return. 4th pick of the year for J.B. Brown and the first touchdown of his 4-year NFL career.
A simple office phone. A large custom-tailored telecommunications system. Voice only or voice and data. Digital switching. Satellite communications. Tie lines. Mobile communications. Multiple long-distance hookups. There are many ways to get information from point A to point B. And it's all as simple as GTE.
Well, this game was scoreless for 25 minutes and 7 seconds, and now the Dolphins pick up 10 points in 20 seconds to go up 10-0.
Well, other than the fact that the Raiders have no running game, and then you factor in that Jay Schrader isn't throwing the ball very well. A couple floaters down the middle, and then that one right there, and those are the two options that are at Art Shell's disposal. Vince Evans on the left, Todd Marinovich on the right, but he's going to stick with Schrader, I'm sure. But this is an absolutely horrid beginning for the Raider offense.
You looked at the three Raider quarterbacks. I think it's kind of interesting. In the Dolphins press guide, there are 25 pages on Dan Marino. Combined for the Raiders' three quarterbacks, there are 4. Let me tell you something.
In what language?
They're not very specific, as you know.
In what language? Let's ponder the meaning of Al's question. His query.
Not for long. Stoyanovich kicks off. That's taken a yard into the end zone and then dropped by Alexander Wright. And he'll go to a knee there and take over at the 20. You know, we showed the other quarterbacks, the real option is Vince Evans, because Marinovich is actually inactive tonight.
Did you see Schrader looking there? I mean, if you're a cornerback and you're locked up man for man, you know you got deep help, only 2 receivers coming downfield. That was a great look at Schrader, looking all the way at Willie Gault.
He might as well have had the old homing device going.
It was like radar. He's locked in totally.
Yep.
It's always been one of his problems.
Just to clarify one thing, in terms of Marinovich being inactive, even though he's in uniform, they can only use him if the other quarterbacks get hurt, or if they want to bring him in, the other quarterbacks cannot come back into the game. In other words, he's the 46th man on the roster. Here is Dickerson, up for a gain of 7 on his best run of the night, or at least his most productive. Coleman and Brown converge on the tackle.
How good was that run? It might have gotten him out of negative numbers. He had a negative rushing average.
Back to that quarterback situation. Now, we asked specifically last night why Vince Evans was ahead of Todd Marinovich, who had been the starter earlier in the season, and we were told that Vince Evans is a better quarterback to come off the bench.
Well, this is important for the Raiders now. Don't flip out. You can get a score before halftime and everything will be all right. It's only 10-0.
2nd and 3, and Steve Smith, who went, as we mentioned, to high school with Tony Page and J.B. Brown, of all guys, is another guy who went to that same school, DeMatha High School in Hyattsville, Maryland. The man who just scored the touchdown.
Right down the road from Bowie, Maryland.
Of course, DeMatha really well known for their basketball program, their high school basketball team year in and year out. I think that's where Danny Ferry went to high school, didn't he? Morgan Wooten, the coach. That's one of the more storied high school basketball programs in America.
Amazing how, when you talk to these players, they all...
That is where Danny Ferry went, isn't it?
They tend to talk about their high school more than they do their colleges.
I'm a big fan.
So what's coming up Sunday? 3rd and 1. Here's Dickerson. Takes it to the 33, and that's a first down. Uh-oh, a little scuffle. Uh-oh, we've got McElroy surrounded by Aqua jerseys.
Brian Cox appears to be the lead Dolphin.
Glover is at the bottom of that pile. It was Andrew Glover, the tight end.
I think I saw a flag thrown late. Brian Cox makes no bones about it. He is an aggressive football player and stands up for his teammates and himself. He is a fear, comes from as tough a background as a guy could have. I mentioned from East St. Louis, Illinois, and he has fought for everything he has in this world, and he's not afraid to fight.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, offsetting penalties, number 87, number 51, after the play was made, first down.
And
Cox and
everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, it's not very fine right now for that man, Art Shell, whose team is 6-7, down 10-0.
Eliminated if they lose tonight. Is that right?
The only way they get into the playoffs is with 3 wins and help.
But they have time to score before halftime, and that's very important for the Raiders.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. The fake, pressure from Coleman, sack and a fumble. And somehow the ball, I think, comes back into a possession of the Raiders. Even though Coleman's leading the cheers, the Raiders maintain possession at the 24-yard line.
Coleman again showing that quickness around Bruce Wilkerson. The old stand-up linebacker that actually started at left linebacker for the Dolphins, this rookie #1 draft pick, and they liked his pursuit so much from the backside they moved him over to defensive right end where they can really utilize that quickness.
Wilkerson recovers the fumble, and we come to the 2-minute warning.
College football's national championship, New Year's night on ABC.
There's a tropical island that's not on any map, though it's easy to find. It's warmed by the sun and caressed by the winds, with its own hidden treasures, local delicacies, and exotic festivals. But this island moves. It's a Carnival cruise ship. So if you go, get there on time and get out your Visa card, because the world's most popular cruise line doesn't stay in one place for long, and it doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, I like this shop.
Okay, but we got a long list here.
Here, let me get the wine.
Okay.
You know what? It's a great Chardonnay. I hope they have it.
Everything looks wonderful, you guys.
Hey, Bill, what's the story with this wine?
Yeah, Bill, what are we drinking?
You tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what it is.
I think it's great.
Ernest and Julio Gallo present a very special Chardonnay. It's time for a change to Gallo.
The Buick LeSabre, Family Circle Magazine's Domestic Family Car of the Year. LeSabre won by finishing first in important family categories like value, comfort, dealer satisfaction, performance, safety, style, and of course, dependability. Buick LeSabre. It is a welcome addition to the American family.
You can already chalk this up as a sack when Marco Coleman gets around the corner that easily. The ball comes right to Wilkerson, and he gets credit for a fumble recovery. Very little satisfaction in recovering a fumble when it's your man that caused it. Quite an acquisition for the Miami Dolphins. Marco Coleman from Georgia Tech.
10-yard sack, 2nd and 20 to 24. 2 minutes to go. 10-0 Dolphins. Schrader guns it to Willie Gault. He's up at the 35-yard line.
And Schrader takes the timeout.
Yeah, well, they remember they burned one before.
Yeah.
Before a Dolphin punt situation, and they use their second here.
The magic of the holidays. It's captured in holiday cards, holiday carols, and holiday windows. Now MasterCard offers a little magic of our own. Master Values, an exclusive program that saves you up to 25% instantly when you use MasterCard at thousands of stores nationwide. Look for offers with your monthly statement. Master Values. It's like getting a gift when you buy a gift. Only from MasterCard.
Raiders throwing for under 100 yards in 4 of their last 7 games, including last week. And tonight, only 37 yards through the air and a very minimal amount on the ground. And they come up to a 3rd down and 9 at the 35-yard line with 1:47 to go in the half. 1 timeout at their disposal. That's right in motion. Schrader throwing up to the 46-yard line, and it's incomplete. Willie Gault was there, but could not gain possession of it. Brown covering.
Ooh, that hurts the Raiders.
Yep.
That's a 1st down they would have had, and needless to say, an opportunity to try to score some points, and that is extremely disappointing.
A couple of ways to get it, too. Schrader could have easily run for the 1st down. As you can see, there's nobody there.
Well, it was certainly there, and Willie had it in his hands and just didn't control it. Pretty sad 1st half for the Raider offense.
Scott Miller to accept Gossett's kick.
Well, they get the ball back.
Flag down, 49-yard punt. And Gossett went down. The flag came down. That would indicate running into him.
Now, this will be important. Running into the kicker is only a 5-yard penalty, and that won't be enough for a 1st down. If it's roughing the kicker, then that will be a 1st down. So this is a very critical call here from referee Red Cashin. Is it running into the kicker or roughing the kicker?
What's the difference? Surgery?
It's 5 yards versus a 1st down is the difference.
And a lot of intent.
There it is right there. Parmalee makes the contact. And there is no doubt that this is a flag. You must protect that punter when he's exposed like that. And Red keeping it a secret as long as he can.
I don't think they'll move the chains on that. Parmalee trying to even avoid the collision. There was no intent.
Certainly there was no intent, and it's strictly a judgment call by the referee, running or roughing. And take your time, Red. Don't worry about us.
Yeah.
I'll be right with you.
They're going to kick again, it looks like. So I would anticipate this will be running into the kicker.
Running into the kicker. Number 30 of the defense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
So Bernie Parmalee escaped the wrath of Don Shula. A first down, and Bernie would have been in some hot water. And I'm not sure that that's a place I'd like to be with that man. The iron-jawed one.
Formerly a rookie from Ball State.
Many a rookie has withered under that glare.
4th and 4, and nobody appeared to be set. There are flags all over the joint.
If that goes against the Dolphins, that would be a first down for the Raiders.
I know the Raiders, it looked like the whole Raider line was moving at once. And it is a first down if it's against the Dolphins, or it's another kick again, or the Dolphins ball.
This is almost certainly against the Raiders, I would think.
It is.
Question here for the Dolphins. Will they make them kick again or take the ball? It was a good punt. Watch the top of your screen. Yeah, you've got the Raiders all coming up to look around, anticipating some change in the blocking or whatever.
Illegal motion. Number 82 of the offense. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
I mean, that was kind of pick 'em, wasn't it? That's nigh on to horrible. That's about as lame as a punting unit can look. All standing up, turning around, looking, and then the ball snapped. That's a little overtime for these guys next week.
So we're back to 4th down and 9 at the 35. 1:18 to go in the first half. 10-0 Miami. Gossett, whose leg is certainly warm, sends it down to the 15-yard line, and Miller brings it back out to the 22-yard line, so Marino can attempt to work his 2-minute magic with 1:06 to go. McCallum makes the tackle.
I think with 1:06 remain, you're up by 10. We won't even fool around with some magic. We won't get in trouble down here. So we'll just play it nice and safe, nice and cozy, unless something happens to break and get up around midfield.
Yeah, you'd be inclined to not take a whole lot of risk, except you got number 13 at quarterback. He makes brave coaches. where normal men might be inclined to just sit on it. They've got 4 receivers in the game.
Yeah, well, they're not going to sit on it. He's coming up in the shotgun. He's got all of his timeouts. They're at the 22 on 1st and 10. Marino on an out route. That's way out. Cooper, the nearest receiver. Mark has not caught a pass tonight, and a minute to go in the first half.
Well, if you want to complete something high percentage, you're going to have to throw to your back coming out of the backfield. You got the prevent defense on the part of the Raiders with the 6 DBs in there.
A reminder, our Lexus halftime report. We showed you a bite before from some of the things Marcus Allen said the other day, and well,
you'll find it fascinating.
Yes, after 6 years of a lot of frustration, apparently, Marcus says it all at halftime. At the 22-yard line, it is 2nd down and 10. Marino gunning it incomplete near midfield.
And now the Dolphins are looking at, if they don't get a completion on 3rd down, or if they don't in some way run a play that keeps the clock running, the Raiders are going to get the ball back.
And the Raiders, because of having to call a couple of timeouts, they are down to 1 timeout.
That's Gary Stevens there next to Don Shula, their offensive coordinator. And so now Arts Club might get it back. Stevens there with the mustache and the glasses on his nose. I'm sure he's telling Shula, I called for completions. I called for completions.
We wanted to keep that clock moving.
That's an apologetic face, isn't it?
3rd down and 10 at the 22-yard line. And an inside give. They keep it on the ground again. Humphrey, he loses the ball, but the play is over.
But he keeps the clock moving. That was the significance of a run. If it's going to be stopped, the Raiders are going to have to take a timeout.
And they are stopping the clock, and I assume it's because of an LA timeout. No signal yet from Red Cashin. Now he signals LA timeout. Their last.
We may rename him Red Caution with the pace he's moving tonight.
We'll take the flip, the kick, the headbutt, and the taunt. Brr, throw in that and that. Looks good. Give me the field, too. Grab the stadiums, grab that, grab that. Do you have anything in a clothesline tackle? Good. Give me that. Give me the wave. No, no, yes. We'll take that, the dive. Party time. Let's do that and that. Not that, and that. Give me that again. Timeout. If it's in the game, it's in the game. John Madden Football 93 for Super NES and Sega Genesis.
Where'd that truck come from?
EA Sports. It's in the game.
44 ticks left in the half. Raiders will get the ball after a Miami punt. Reggie Roby to punt. That's Tim Brown at the 35 to run it back. Raiders are out of timeout. Oh, typical Roby. Vintage, quintessential Roby.
Whoa.
Brown at the 15-yard line.
That was even good for Roby.
Yeah. Back to the 27-yard line. Mike Williams makes the tackle.
Tim Brown caught that ball so far away from everybody. I'm not sure he knew what to do with it.
I was watching Roby. He's had a little bit of a problem. He came back from that knee injury. We had him against Cleveland in the second game of the season. He had knee surgery, and he's just now getting it back together.
That's going into the books as a 60-yard punt.
But it hung up there, double-digit time almost.
It might have. You're right.
Ooh. At the 27-yard line. First down. Raiders. No timeouts left. Allen in the game, and here's Marcus carrying, looking for room. Struggling to get it out to the 29-yard line. And the Raiders cannot stop the clock. So they'll regroup. The killer for them in this first half was that interception by J.B. Brown, run in for a touchdown. Dolphin offense, meanwhile, a lot of yardage, but not much to show for it. And their offense has now gone 16 quarters, or in effect 4 full games with 2 touchdowns. But they lead, do the Dolphins, 10-0 at the half. And back we come with halftime activities after this message from the National Football League and a word from our ABC station. Stay tuned.
She's Gloria Estefan, world-famous performer and star of the 1992 Super Bowl Spectacular.
As a performer, I've known great victories, as well as great challenges. But I also realized that's why I joined with my buddies Keith Sims, John Offerdahl, and Reggie Roby of the Miami Dolphins. We're all part of the
Your local United Way, helping where help is needed most.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Wednesday is the season for special gift giving.
$99.99. That's almost $100.
The Wonder Years. Then it's a holiday catch.
On American Sportsman, they always let him go.
That was TV. This is dinner.
Doogie Howser. And it's a Tool Time Christmas.
Look out for that mountain now.
With special guest Manhattan Transfer, Home Improvement. Then a gift mix-up gets Hayden in deep figgy pudding.
What if Dauber gave Judy your ring?
Odd Coach. A night of holiday comedy Wednesday.
Suppose you wanted to make a chair as stable as can be. Where would you put the legs? Right at the corners, right? Now, suppose you wanted to make a car as stable as can be. Where would you put the wheels? Right. That's why the new Intrepid is so remarkably stable. The wheels are pushed out toward the corners. The further we pushed, the more stable and sure-footed it became. Intrepid. This changes everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Little as Little Bo Peep.
Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep, and my staff can't find them. I'm selling Tri-State Megabucks tickets. Please go out and buy some.
A beautiful resuscitation.
The man is an incredible talent.
Get your Tri-State Megabucks tickets today. You could be rich for just a little.
People's Court, weekdays at 5:30 on WVNY TV.
The Lexus Halftime Report. Brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, including the newly redesigned 1993 LS400. Here now, Frank Gifford.
We're at halftime, Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, Florida, the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Raiders. One of the ongoing stories that has surfaced from time to time within the close-knit Raider family is the relationship between owner Al Davis and future Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. Allen has done it all for the Raiders in his 11 seasons, from league MVP to Super Bowl MVP in his early years to a situational backup in recent times. This weekend, our Al Michaels had a chance to talk to Marcus about his reduced role.
How would you right now characterize the relationship with Al Davis?
Well, I guess it's acrimonious at best. I don't know. What do you think about a guy that has attempted to, ruin your career? Perception is greater than reality sometimes. When people see you not playing, they believe that, why isn't he playing? Maybe he can't play, or is he just a situational back? And that's not the case. It's, when someone messes with your livelihood like that, I mean, this is what I wanted to do since I was 8 years old. And this very thing has been taken away from me. Not for, I don't think, a business reason, just a personal reason.
I know Al Davis would scoff at the notion that he would sacrifice the good of the whole team because of a personal vendetta. Do you feel there has been a personal vendetta with you?
No question about it. Absolutely. He told me he was going to get me. We've had conversations. I don't know for what reason, but he told me that he was going to get me. And he's done that. I think he's tried to ruin, the latter part of my career, try to devalue me. I think he's trying to stop me from going to the Hall of Fame. But it's just been an outright joke to sit on the sidelines and not get the opportunity to play. I mean, I shouldn't say not get the opportunity. They don't want me to play.
Art Shell is the coach of this team. Have you addressed the issue of the lack of playing time with him directly?
I've talked to Art. Art said he has nothing to do with it.
He has nothing to do with your playing time?
He has nothing to do with my situation. And I love Art, and I respect him a great deal, and he's been honest with me, and I appreciate that. But he basically says it's out of his hands.
And you interpret that to mean he's been told that you are to be limited in your playing time?
Oh, yes.
How did you get into the doghouse?
I don't know. I don't have the slightest idea. Looking back, I don't think I did anything. Maybe it's just the way I am, or, and I can't change that, and I don't apologize for that. Maybe that offended him. I don't know. Maybe it rubbed him the wrong way. I just can't fathom, what happened. I mean, I can't comprehend it. I mean, it's a mystery to me.
Why have you chosen to remain basically silent about this for so long?
I've always been afraid that perhaps this guy would, suspend me, for conduct detrimental to the team, so I couldn't say too much. But it's been difficult. I've tried several different ways to, several different private ways to get my behind thrown out of there, but it hasn't worked.
My voice has been pre-recorded to demonstrate a remarkable point. A car phone so well conceived, it's not only portable, but voice activated. Now, dialing's as easy as this. Call office.
Thank you for calling Lexus. May I help you?
New Year's Day, the best is here. The excitement begins with the 104th Tournament of Roses Parade. Then our bowl game triple-header gets rolling as Georgia meets Ohio State in the Florida Citrus Bowl. Followed by the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Undefeated Michigan goes for revenge against Washington. And that night, it's the biggest game of the year. #1 Miami battles #2 Alabama. 2 undefeated Giants go for the national championship in the USF&G Sugar Bowl. It's all New Year's Day on ABC Sports.
Gifford, Al Michaels, Dan Deerdorf, and Al, what I found surprising about that interview, I know they haven't got along all that well, but the depth of the feelings of Marcus, and I know you've talked to both Art Shell and Al Davis tonight.
Well, I told Al Davis what Marcus had said. He said the statements are, and he said it with a laugh, he said they're totally fraudulent. He's reported late for the last 5 years. He's been hurt. Maybe he doesn't like the competition, talking about bringing in people like Dickerson and Craig, and before that, Bo Jackson. I talked to Art Shell, who I think is really kind of the man in the middle in this whole thing, and Art said, I'm the coach of the team. I determine who plays and how much they play. Dan, very compelling stuff from Marcus. Sad, though, to me, in a way, that a great career begins to wind down with such acrimony on both sides, really.
And that it's been going on for so long. I mean, Marcus Allen saying that this has been happening for years. And, you know, I guess in the interest of fairness, we have to say that it's being denied by Davis and Shell, and Marcus says it's this way. It's over, though. I mean, we have to say that Marcus Allen's 11-year career with the Raiders has come to a screeching halt. I don't see any way that it can continue beyond this season with what's been said on both sides.
What's been said, plus, I mean, any possible court ruling, any possible collective bargaining agreement, and all the rest. And Marcus clearly feels he can still be a very productive feature back in somebody's offense, Frank.
Again, the length of the time, I wonder why Marcus would pick this time to make the statement and express his feelings.
And what's interesting, I think, for Marcus Allen is that next year will be his 12th year in the National Football League, and we think maybe he could be a feature back in someone's offense, but that's not a certainty. There aren't many running backs in their 30s that are capable of carrying the full load. And whether or not Marcus Allen is ever going to be the main man in anybody's offense in the National Football League ever again, I think, is a big question mark.
Fascinating story, and I'm quite sure we have not heard the end of it. Bet on that. We'll be back in Miami in just a moment. Stay with us.
The Lexus ES300 features a very advanced suspension system that helps it maintain excellent straight-line stability as speed increases, or even as it decreases.
The Lexus Halftime Report has been brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of their relentless pursuit of perfection. We'll return with the second half kickoff after word from our ABC stations.
We start the second half at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, 10-0. Miami on top, and the Raiders to kick off. Jeff Jager sees his first action of the night as he sends it down to the 9-yard line. This is Bernie Parmalee, the rookie from Ball State, and he's tackled up at the 25-yard line. And ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation, by Game Boy from Nintendo. Have you had your fun today? And by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. Numbers through the first 30 minutes of play, not necessarily reflective of the score. It's only 10-0, but the numbers dominated by the Dolphins.
54 total yards of offense in the first half, the lowest number the Raiders have achieved so far in the 92 season, and that's wholly unacceptable.
And the only touchdown, an interception run back as Marino goes deep, and that's knocked away at the very last moment by Lionel Washington, the veteran corner, on a pass intended for Mark Clayton. Washington in his 10th year, one-time Cardinal.
You won't find Marino throwing into double coverage like that very often. Washington on the outside, getting help on the inside from Ronnie Lott. Easily played by Washington. He knows that he has got deep coverage from Ronnie Lott.
Lionel, a former teammate rather of mine in St. Louis, and gives the Raiders outstanding corner play on both sides. Terry McDaniel on the other side. You don't hear his name called hardly at all. He's not being challenged much by anybody.
On 2nd and 10, it's a pickup of 4 on a burst through the middle. Nolan Harrison and Ronnie Lott making the tackle on Mark Higgs.
And Ronnie Lott coming up from about 8 or 10 yards deep from that safety spot.
Ronnie is really committing early, I think, to the running game. I mean, he has been a serious factor in the Raider running game, and I'm not so sure that a well-executed play-action pass isn't going to catch Lott up close to the line of scrimmage.
He has committed early to the run since he was in grammar school.
He certainly has.
3rd and 6 at the 29-yard line. And Marino throws. Is there a flag? There is no flag as the Dolphins keep looking around for one. And Mark Clayton says, where in the world is that piece of laundry? McDaniel with the coverage. And
Daniel just got tied up with his feet.
Got tied up with something.
Marino trying to coax a flag in. McDaniel, number 36, playing Clayton very tight. Made a move to step in front for a deflection or a pickoff and tripped up Clayton.
On 4th and 6, Reggie Roby booms another one. That's taken by Brown at the 25-yard line. And he brings it back to the 35.
Mark Clayton still upset on the sidelines. He's arguing with the official all the way off the field, and that is a puzzled look on his face. How is it possible I don't get the call? It was just a case of their feet intertwining and sending Clayton down. Jay Schrader is going to attempt to improve upon a horrid first half.
I was going to say that would not be too difficult.
Raiders, after a 46-yard Roby punt, 10-yard run back by Brown, have it at the 35-yard line. And believe it or not, it's the Raiders' best starting field position. At the 35-yard line, Schrader completes it up to the 40. A little short route run by Tim Brown, who was tackled by J.B. Brown.
Tim Brown playing on a very sore ankle that he's had for the past couple of weeks. The Raiders going pretty much with their Raider offense, which was their Raider offense a lot of years ago. The two speedy guys on the outside. Usually one other back in the pass pattern. Not difficult to read. They just try to execute.
2nd and 5. Schrader throws. Smith makes the catch. Smith is run out of bounds by Grimsley. A little short of the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and 1. Art Shell took over in '89. He's guided the Raiders into the playoffs in each of the last 2 seasons. There's his mark as the Raiders head coach. 3rd full season and 4th overall. He took over from Mike Shanahan in October of '89.
As a teammate, actually, of Marcus Allen.
And of Howie Long.
Yep. That's strange and a very rare combination.
Was not Art Shell's first game as a head coach here in Miami on a Monday night?
It was in New York on a Monday night.
New York. I knew we did it somewhere on a Monday night.
3rd and 1.
Here, New York. I mean, what's the
major difference.
And it's incomplete. He tried to jam it in. Ethan Horton, who says, I can't believe it. That's a catch. The umpire says,
The major difference right now.
What he was really doing.
Major difference now is about 2 feet of snow.
It's a little chilly up there.
Shell just watching his team failing to convert on 3rd down. It is 4th and 1, and Gossett comes in.
Boy, it certainly looked like Grimsley was all over him before the ball got there. But no flag.
Gossett's kick is a weak one that goes out of bounds at the 26-yard line. That's where Marino and the Dolphins take over, and they're ahead 10-0.
Suppose you wanted to make a chair as stable as can be. Where would you put the legs? Right at the corners, right? Now, suppose you wanted to make a car as stable as can be. Where would you put the wheels? Right. That's why the new Intrepid is so remarkably stable. The wheels are pushed out toward the corners. The further we pushed, the more stable and sure-footed it became. Intrepid. This changes everything.
Responsible adults aren't supposed to have fun. Wake up. We can do whatever we want. Drive racing cars to work, play golf in our pajamas, tennis on the bus, or baseball in our mother-in-law's living room. All you need is a Game Boy. It's a personal game-playing system with over 200 puzzle, action, and sports games to choose from. Hey, fun is your reward for growing up. Start playing.
You really got to get one of these.
Game Boy by Nintendo. Have you had your fun today?
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Miller Lite, I like it like that.
When you're calling for great taste and a less filling beer, one beer's made to order. Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
Ooh, I like it like that. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Ooh, come on.
That is the airship Shamu that was hovering high above Joe Robbie Stadium. There it is. SeaWorld blimp. Measuring 194 feet, they tell us. 67 feet tall. So how many cubic feet of helium?
7,348,127.
More than that, Dan. At least 8, 9.
I prefer fixed wing aircraft myself.
Dan Marino and the Dolphins at the 27. Higgs picks up 4, takes it out to the 31-yard line. And Eddie Anderson makes the tackle with 12:05 to play in the third quarter. Miami up 10-0.
Al, are you one of these guys that will ask a question and not know the answer?
Well,
I mean, that's very rude, I want you to know.
We all win the dumbbell award for not being able to figure that one out, huh?
Oh, you win 2 awards. I've been waiting for that.
2nd and 6 at the 31-yard line. The trophy comes with it. Higgs out to the 32-yard line. He's tackled there by Eddie Anderson.
Pretty good collision there between Tony Page and Winston Moss. We've extolled the virtues before of Tony Page and his lead blocking abilities. Boy, he's a good one. He brings a little poundage to the dance. He's listed at 235. What do you think, guys? I say that's light.
That's just in the legs.
I'm trying to figure out how many cubic pounds.
I think that secondary does for the Raiders. Boy, they will hit you. Eddie Anderson came up and put the pop on that time. Anderson a lot. You better be looking around when you pop through an opening in that line of scrimmage if you're a running back, because you're going to get hit.
3rd and 5, and whistle before the snap. Richmond Webb was certainly moving.
Yeah, he false started again, I think.
Before the snap. False start. Number 78 on the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
It was just a hair early, it looked. But that's enough to draw the false start in. We've talked before so many times about how crowd noise is a factor for an offensive tackle, but they're at home and there's no crowd noise. There it is. I mean, that's a good call by the official. I mean, it is dead silent when the Dolphins have the ball here, and Webb has no excuse.
3rd and 10. Marino is 0 for his last 5. And that's incomplete. Dan Land getting a hand on it. Tony Martin, the intended receiver.
Well, Tony Martin just didn't have the speed to pull away from Land. And the ball was really well thrown considering where Martin was, but this is just outstanding coverage work by Dan Land, number 25. Look how he's right with him. Dan drops the ball in there effectively, but just credit that good coverage.
There's Reggie Roby, who's already boomed 160 yards tonight. This is considerably shorter. Tim Brown corrals it at the 32-yard line. And Brown into Dolphin territory, out of bounds at the 39. The Raiders looking for any spark, and that's 1.
Well, this will give them, if it holds up, and I see no flags, by far and away their best field position.
See
if Raider can do anything with it.
This symbol outside means you have the standard inside that an entire library of software has been written to. The Intel microprocessor. Think of it as a library card that lets you run the software of today and tomorrow. So check out computers with Intel, the computer inside. The Norelco razor hugs every contour, every curve, for a shave incredibly close and comfortable. It's the one with floating heads. For the perfect shave that makes the perfect gift, Norelco. We make close comfortable.
What we need now is the beach.
And the brood. And the babes.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
Highly sensitive microphones and even stethoscopes were used to isolate noises in the new Intrepid. Triple sealed doors, specially designed tires, and a unique muffler system were used to quiet them. You said your next car had to be quiet.
Excuse me.
And boy, did we listen. Intrepid. This changes everything.
Dallas does prime time. They're both young and hungry, out to make some noise. Don't miss this matchup, the Falcons and the boys.
As we went to commercial, you could see that Don Shula was upset. I think he thought that Tim Brown went out of bounds. And a good look there at him staying in bounds. Shula was convinced that he had stepped on the paint. Take a look at it. There's a pretty definitive view that Tim Brown remained in bounds, but Shula doesn't have a monitor on the sidelines, and he was really upset.
And the line judge made that call, or non-call. Charles Stewart standing right there. Schrader on first down from the 38-yard line. Looking deep downfield. Nothing there. Scrambling. Goes to the boundary and is shoved out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Okay.
And a skirmish.
A nonchalant pickup by Schrader, who appeared to just glide the last 4 or 5 yards out of bounds.
Well, that's one of the few times you're going to see Miami in man-to-man defense, and here comes Cox. We talked about him earlier.
Looks like Tim Brown was the one jawing at Cox.
Brown and Griggs started it. They were the first bout on this 6-pound card.
And Miami was in man-to-man on that. It's easy for a quarterback to pick up big yardage. Here's how it all began.
We had a
Tim Brown.
We had a good left.
Byron Cox.
Kind of a stinging jab by Tim Brown, and then a good right lead by Cox.
Stinging left and out of there.
Right. I owe it all to Alex Wallace.
Yeah, I know you do. First down at the 26-yard line. Dickerson. And Eric takes it to the 20, where he gets popped by Lewis Oliver, and there's a flag down. And this one is against the Raiders, so back it comes. First time tonight that the Raiders have been in Miami territory.
They could call that against Horton. He was in a wrestling match.
Holding during the run. Number 88 on the offense. 10 yards, still first down.
Ethan Horton.
Couple of calls now tonight on Horton.
Well, in fairness to Tim Horton, or to Ethan Horton, his father passed away last week. He missed a lot of practice time, and clearly you can't blame him for being distracted.
He missed most of the week of practice, and actually flew here to Miami to join the Raiders. So it's very difficult to be critical of any errors he makes.
Right. You saw the graphic illustrating the incompetence thus far of this offense. First and 14 after the penalty, and Smith makes the catch and doesn't pick up very much as Jeff Cross is right there to corral him.
That's a screen that is chased down and stopped by 2 of the interior linemen. Cross the first one there, and then Chuck Klingbeil the second. That is a screen that is either too slow to materialize or was not well executed by the line up front, and that it was too easy to read by the Dolphins and their defensive line.
Schrader could have taken a little deeper drop and brought Cross in with him a little further, and Schrader just dropped 4, 5, 6 yards, and Cross was able to get out of his pass rush right into the play.
Second and 14. Schrader incomplete at the 12-yard line. He tried to jam it in there to Willie Gault, and Jarvis Williams is right there with the coverage.
Gault there at the top of your screen. This is going to be just a simple break to the inside, but this is big-time traffic area, and Willie Gault not all that comfortable in there, and he saw the hit coming from Williams, and you could see him tuck the arms in. Ooh, and that is a big-time collision.
Meanwhile, Marco Coleman is shaken up, and that's the reason for the injury timeout as they attend to the Georgia Tech rookie.
The Dolphins certainly made the most of the fact that they had 2 #1 draft picks this year. They converted them into immediate defensive help in the form of that guy right there, Marco Coleman, and then Troy Vincent, who's starting at left corner. So
that was the
looks like a couple of home runs by Don Shula in the Dolphin draft this year. There's Vincent, number 23.
Vincent, he was the Cardinals' #1 pick for Randall Hill. And this was the Dolphins' #1 pick, Marco Coleman. You're right. They've really come up with a couple of real fine defensive players.
Shula against the Raiders, 3-9. As we say, through the years, the Dolphins 3-14-1 against the Raiders. 3rd and 14. Schrader feeling the heat, gets it away. It's caught at the 15-yard line by Tim Brown, and it's a very big conversion for a first down. Very big.
Oh, and a heads-up play on the part of Schrader, too. He had a lot of room to run the football, but he probably would not have got the first down. So he hung in there, and waited, and finally was able to get the completion for the first down.
And watch Brown, Frank, turn immediately when he reaches the first down yardage. He sits down right about a yard beyond the first down stakes. I mean, how many times do you see a receiver who comes up a yard or 2 short on a 3rd down conversion play? Well done.
Quarterback the angle, the best angle to throw the football, and he did it all.
At the 15-yard line on first down, here's Dickerson to the outside, and he runs right into Oliver, who body slams him at the 12. And the crowd going Lou, Lou for Oliver.
Eric gave Louis Oliver a bunch of stutter steps. It did no good whatsoever.
And it's coming back because of a holding against the Raiders, but
Oliver zeroed right in on that belt, and he was not going to get his eye off. He didn't take one of the fakes that Dickerson threw at him.
When Eric Dickerson,
during the run, 10 yards, still first down.
When Dickerson gains separation, he is his most dangerous. And there's Steve Smith going off. And I've seen Dickerson in that same situation before end up scoring a touchdown. I mean, he was in the open, and Louis Oliver was the only man there. That's
Look at all
where
the moves right here, though. The quick step here to the outside, back in. Oliver zeroed right in on it.
Yep, that was just a beautiful play by Oliver.
Smith out. McCallum, Napoleon McCallum, comes in to spell him.
Steve Smith is very effective blocker. They miss him, particularly Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, he's really an unsung guy.
Oh, he's tough.
1st and 18 at the 22 after the penalty. And Schrader throws, and it's McCallum who sees immediate action. He takes the ball to the 15-yard line. You know, we were talking about Oliver before. Oliver's the guy, you'll recall, in the Buffalo game where Miami beat the Bills and they crushed them at Rich Stadium. Oliver had 3 interceptions against Jim Kelly that day, and long run backs and the whole thing. Those were his only 3 interceptions all season. Amazing.
The one was
103 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards into the
tying an NFL record. Well, that's enough.
that's a Pro Bowl in a day.
Like you said, it's just odd that the only 3 all year were all in that one game. But they were timely.
Looking to the face mask of Dickerson on 2nd and 11 from the 15, and Schrader has to recover his own fumble.
There's 12 for the
27-yard line.
That's number 12 for Brian Cox. And that is nothing more than pure speed around the corner. And Bruce Wilkerson, whether it's when another fight breaks out, but whether it's Marco Coleman or whether it's Brian Cox, Wilkerson has his hands full trying to protect that corner. How did Cox get all the way back down there in that one? Now, this is a record. Look at Cox, number 51. He makes the sack.
He was
and gets all the way downfield and gets in a fight.
So Cox involved in a couple of he's fought everybody but Riddick Bowe during this series.
He is making Bruce Wilkerson look very bad tonight.
That'll be at halftime next week.
That's following where he gets in trouble. A little too much celebrating for the Raiders.
Third and 22 at the 26-yard line. 6:29 to go, third quarter. 10-0 Dolphins. Schrader, Cox with backside pressure, and he creates the incomplete pass.
A stellar series for Brian Cox.
Well, he's working on Honolulu.
Yep. Well, a dozen sacks will do that to you, and he was within a whisker of another sack there.
Cox only in his second year, and as Dan pointed out, what a terrific fifth-round draft pick out of Western Illinois, and Dan also pointed out in East St. Louis.
One of the great programs around Bob Shannon's outfit there. But look at the age of this Dolphin defense. I mean, Cox in his second year, Coleman a rookie, Klingbeil second year, Cross in his fifth, Griggs in his fourth, Vincent a rookie, Oliver in his fourth, J.B. Brown in his fourth. I mean, this is a group that really their best years are in front of them.
44-yard field goal attempt for Jeff Jager out of Gossick's hold is no good.
Youth has been served. I'm sorry. Youth has been served here by the Dolphin defense.
Still 10-0.
If you're open to a beer brewed from the start, to be the one great tasting beer that's less filling, there's one beer to open.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Miller Lite, I like it like that.
Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
Come on.
Quote, a mid-sized Dodge Dakota with an optional 230 horsepower Magnum V8 outpowers, outhauls, and just plain outpulls even full-size 5-liter V8s from Ford and Chevy. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Get $500 cash back on new Dodge Dakotas.
We at Subway believe the key to a good holiday party isn't the music or the mistletoe, it's the food. So while you deck the halls, we're here to decorate the stomach with sandwiches. For instance, if folks just drop by, pick up a sack of subs and have an instant party. Or, if you know they're coming, our party platters feed any number of hungry guests. And finally, for big party fun, our party subs prove we'll go to any length to solve your holiday hunger needs.
For more information on how to have a happy holiday, visit the Subway near you. Would you believe there's any hope for a housing project like this? Well, this man does, and his methods could change America. You'll see how on Primetime Thursday.
In this corner, wearing the aqua shirt, Brian Cox. Remember, we were here last year. He took on the whole Cincinnati Bengal bench.
He sure did. He's proud of his football team, and Tom Olivadotti ought to be proud of his defense. They are young, and they are aggressive, and they are carrying the Dolphin football team. A real change of pace that is not Dan Marino's offensive unit that's doing that. They're the ones that are a step behind.
First down at the 26. That's caught by Page. Tony up to the 33-yard line. He is tackled by Winston Moss. Moss in on a lot of hits tonight.
The Raiders need to make something happen now. I mean, they had wonderful field position because of Brown's punt return. Got 0 points out of it. They're almost beginning to look like a team that needs almost what J.B. Brown gave the Dolphins. A fumble recovery, run back for a touchdown, an interception. It looks like somebody for the defensive team of the Raiders better step to the plate.
Second down and 2 at the 34-yard line. Higgs, that's the first down. Tackled at the 38-yard line, and coming up to trip him up is Lionel Washington.
Great tackle by Washington. Higgs was gone for a big gainer. Still, he gets the first down. Breaking again out on the left side behind Webb and Sims.
Dan, you were talking about the Raiders have to make something happen. That's been their big problem this year, is the paucity of turnovers they've created. If you can point to one thing, that's really hurt them.
Well, that and the fact that they've turned it over so many times.
And what were they coming into tonight's game? -12?
Yep.
Only New England was worse.
Here's a flea flicker. And Marino had a little trouble with the toss back from Higgs, but then throws a perfect strike to Duper. And the official fell down. There's no signal yet, but it has to be a touchdown. It is.
Yeah, it was half-hearted after he got up.
Hey, Ronnie Lott from the hole tried to get over. With any other passer, he might have been able to make it. But Marino just smoked that downfield to Duper. Ronnie Lott couldn't get to it. I don't believe Ronnie Lott believed that Marino could put that much on the football on that long a pass.
For some reason, Frank, Ronnie Lott on his way over to Duper altered his course.
He was looking for the interception, I think, Dan, and Marino just had, boy, he had some fire on this thing.
Well designed. Higgs flips it back to Marino, and look at the protection up front. Dan not challenged at all, allowed to step with that lead foot and deliver a strike, and there you see Washington and Lott both a step behind Mark Super Duper.
Duper's first catch of the night, 62 yards. Stoyanovich for the PAT.
Oh!
And the PAT is just good.
Looks like it was blocked, wasn't it? And still got over.
Somebody got a hand on it, I think. Doesn't matter. It's the 17th point, and it's 17-0.
Imagine a new car so durable, its paint resists chips and salt and even birds. When scratched, one of its protective coatings actually seals itself. And what's more, it may never need waxing. You know something's changed when even the paint job is a work of art. Intrepid. This changes everything.
A twin blade from Bic? What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
Yeah, well, I'm a sensitive guy, so I tried it.
Big man.
It was good. It was great. The new Bic Twin Select. Normal, sensitive. It really blew me away. You made a big man out of me.
Sure, you work in an office,
What do you mean 8?
but you live on the phone, which is why you should know about Centranet service from GTE. With Centranet, you get the features and flexibility of the most sophisticated business telephone system, not the high cost of one.
It's really, really difficult for me right now.
Because while you spend most of your time on the phone,
You hung up on him, he's gone now.
there's no need to spend most of your money.
Sunday, at a special time.
Never seen him before.
The Man with No Name returns. Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider, Sunday.
Well, Marino and Clayton are the most proficient with 78 touchdown passes. And then there's Mark Duper, who has just caught his 55th touchdown pass from Dan Marino.
Everybody wants to stand around the guy who catches the touchdown pass. What do you say? It's cold up there.
Yeah. 17-0. Miami is the kick from Stoyanovich is taken by Wright at the 9, and Wright slides to his knees as Clifford Hobley makes the tackle, or gets credit for it anyway, up at the 27. And we've got flags, and we've got a few more little preliminary bouts.
Can we just assume that Brian Cox is in on this? I don't think he's on the field. That might be the only reason why.
This one is McCallum was involved in it. Roosevelt Collins got into it, and Stephen Braggs. Definitely an undercard matchup. Red Cashman will tell us. Is it the old offsetting?
Oh, this one looks like it's going to go strictly against the Raiders. Here's another look at the old flea flicker.
Look at the
Marino to Higgs.
What he
to Marino.
puts on this here. Ronnie Lott thought he was going to intercept this football. He's got plenty of time to get over there. He just drilled him with it.
Where was the Raider defensive line? I mean, they were just standing there mesmerized by the ball handling inside. I mean, these guys are just standing there.
Still, that was an absolutely perfectly thrown ball.
Beautiful camera
right
work,
in
guys.
stride.
Nice. That's a nice look.
First and 10, Los Angeles at the 13. 4.5 to go, third quarter. 17-0 Dolphins. Schrader, secondary doing its job, buys time, throws, and Dickerson was there and couldn't hold on. Good play by, I think Dwight Hollier was right there. Louis Oliver, number 25, on the coverage as well.
The Raiders have used that formation a couple times tonight where they put Dickerson in motion and then he becomes technically a wide receiver by the time the ball is snapped. He has it and Hollier actually knocks it out of Dickerson's hand inadvertently.
Speaking of youth, he's a rookie, Dan, and they're getting a lot of mileage out of him with John Offerdahl out now for 6 of the last 7 games.
Second and 10. And Schrader over the middle again, and that's a little too deep off the hand of Andrew Glover.
I talked the last time the Dolphins were on defense about the age of their defensive squad and started naming off some numbers. Take a look at this. Their average age, 26 years and 3 months. That is the youngest defensive unit in the American Conference. And when you look at the quality, these are young guys that are playing not because of necessity. They're playing because they deserve to play. And when you think about what this guy, Tom Olivadotti, has to work with in the future, it's very bright here in Miami. This is a good group getting better every week.
Third and 10 at the 13-yard line. Here comes the safety blitz, and that's picked up by Horton. Then Schrader scrambles and gets tackled from behind him at the 25, but it's a first down. Brian Cox got him, but Schrader picks up the first.
Brian Cox ran about 100 yards to make that tackle. Looped around number 68 Wilkerson, almost back into the end zone. Well, he does make it. Now he's in dead pursuit. It takes him a while, but about 8 or 10 seconds later and about 50 yards, he makes the stop.
It's a solo tackle, not a sack, but a solo tackle. But this is an exciting player.
First and 10 up at the 25-yard line. Dickerson tonight out of the backfield, 10 carries, 17 yards. And here's carry number 11. And he takes the ball out to the 33-yard line where Collier makes the tackle. Eric Dickerson. Well, you know, it's a funny thing. We heard from Marcus Allen tonight after 6 years of frustration and relative silence. Then there was Dickerson. And remember when Eric was with the Rams, he did everything but set himself on fire to get traded. And finally the Rams were compelled to trade him to Indianapolis.
And now it's Marcus Allen doing much the same thing. He might have set himself on fire tonight with the interview we ran at halftime.
Well, clearly he wants to go elsewhere anyway.
Well, Ethan Horton was moving towards the line of scrimmage at the snap of the ball, and I think he got flagged for it.
And guess who hits Schrader as he releases? Yeah. Mr. Cox.
You have to be going parallel to the line at the snap of the ball, and Ethan Horton was going forward. And that is a motion penalty. The Raiders, in many ways, have hurt themselves as much as the Dolphins have.
Well, the big hurt, of course, tonight with the J.B. Brown.
Illegal motion. Number 88 on the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
And they have been doing it all year long. But Schrader goes back, tries to go deep. Brown picks it off, takes it in, and puts the Dolphins up by a quick 7 points. And they've been doing that all season long. And they have not been getting, as you mentioned, Al, the turnover themselves.
Well, they're
really uncharacteristic of them.
In takeaways, they are dead last in the league. And when you're dead last in the league in takeaways, you're not going to the playoffs very often. And second and 7, there's Dickerson making the catch, and he converts. And thought for a moment we might have a face mask, but he simply got his shirt, did Jarvis Williams. Well, Eric Dickerson, it's a funny thing. I mean, here's a guy at the tail end of his career, but he's about the same age as Marcus Allen. In fact, they're both 32. He came in. He's been pretty quiet this year. There was a little frustration on his part early in the year about not carrying the ball that much, but he's very happy to have a job, very happy to be with the Raiders. And, of course, Allen reduced again this year to the third down role.
And there's another tremendous talent there at the running back position, Nick Bell.
who is seldom seen.
42-yard line. Schrader. And that's incomplete, and Willie Gore was the nearest receiver, and he wasn't that close. 2:01 to go in the third. And there is Nick Bell. He is seldom seen in the first half. He is often seen late in games, but tonight, and there it is, carries by quarter, down 17-0. I think he will be relatively seldom seen tonight as well.
He's a good man to bring in there late in the game. He goes about 255 pounds. When you are going up against linebackers a little fatigued from chasing, like Cox, lineman a little tired, 255 pounds could put a major hurting on you.
And of all their running backs, the best average.
2nd and 10, and Schrader will air it out for Brown, but two Dolphins are back there, and Kenny had no chance. Coverage by Oliver and Vincent. And Marcus coming in now on 3rd and 10. The plays for the Raiders are called by Tom Walsh upstairs, sent down to Terry Robisky, the man on the right. And there is Robisky, who was calling the plays earlier this season. And then the Raiders shuffled around their offensive strategy, and Walsh up in the coach's booth.
At least we've been told that that's the system. Well, Robisky signals the plays in.
It's struggling to find answers. We saw the same thing last week with Chicago and Greg Landry.
3rd and 10, and that is knocked down and not even close to the intended receiver. Lifford Hobley breaking up the play, but it wasn't going to get there anyway.
Once again, it was Coleman in there harassing Schrader. Schrader having the grit of the football.
How about that guy?
Joe.
Think he could pass along a little advice to a defensive lineman? Joe Green, the tremendous Hall of Famer, the number 75 for the Steel Curtain. And you know that when he talks, there is very little idle conversation in the defensive line meeting.
4th and 10. Gossett with a liner, caught by Miller at the 20. And he brings it back to the 30-yard line. Derek Hoskins makes the tackle. We have 1:39 remaining in the third quarter, and it remains 17-0 Miami.
Hey, I got 2 words for Santa Claus. Deion Santa Claus, okay? Sit down, Santa. Such a big backside down the Yuletide bench, because this year I'm dreaming of a Santa Claus Christmas where a slim, trim guy in a designer suit scales the highest chimneys, dashes through the deepest snow, and squat thrusts the heaviest presents. You think a Jelly Belly from some elf-infested igloo is going to get the goods there on time? Wrong! Hey, this year there's no crying and no pouting. Why? Because Deion Santa Claus is coming to town. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
And last year he hit over 300.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer. Pure beer. The best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization. And why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Remember the 50s? Well, Wendy's is bringing them back with the new Wendy Melon. A quarter pound of fresh beef, sauteed onions, Dave's special sauce, and 2 slices of Swiss on the toasted Kaiser bun. The Wendy Melon. It's a 50s thing.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Guess what motor oil gives you unbeatable wear protection? Give them a clue, Bert.
Quaker State.
What motor oil is unsurpassed in preventing sludge buildup?
Quaker State.
Now, guess what motor oil Bert uses?
Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Good guess.
Very happy crowd at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. By the way, I mean, clearly the most controversial play yesterday in the Dallas-Washington game. Troy Aikman back to pass. On Skins, they win the game. Talk about a little bit more in regard to that in a moment as the Dolphins from the 30 start with Higgs. Just to button up one part of that story. I talked to Jerry Seaman today, who's in charge of the officials. The league has not issued a statement yet. Jerry says he hasn't seen the definitive film. He was expecting to see that either late tonight or tomorrow, but clearly he says if a quarterback's arm is coming forward, it is an incomplete pass and the ball is dislodged.
What do you need to see more definitive than that?
Well, we see it in slow motion, and if the quarterback brings the arm forward and then brings the ball back in the hand, and I think that was the official on the spot who made the call. That's how he saw it, and didn't look at it in slow motion. It was very difficult. But I think, again, it's a good call. If you're a proponent of replay, you'd say, well, you would have seen it in slow motion.
2nd and 5, and Higgs picks up a couple. The funny thing about replay, clearly the proponents of replay have to admit at this point that the flow of the game is much better without it. But at what cost? I mean, to me, yesterday, the flow of the game was not altered, but the final score was altered by yesterday's call or non-call. In any event, you talk about proponents of replay, there is maybe proponent number 1.
Are you finished, Al?
Well, I'm done.
I mean, do we get equal time after this lecture that you've delivered on equal?
I'm trying to take us down to the end of the quarter.
Yeah, well, you did.
I'll lift him off the box. There you go, Dan.
Instant replay is not coming back. I think the majority of people are quite happy the way things are, regardless of your little lectures to the country.
Is this an exit poll or what? 3rd and 4.
Might be your exit.
Get out of here. The catch is made by Freddie Banks. No, it's not made. Freddie said, hey, come on, I made it.
Oh, yeah, let's look at it on replay.
Right. Only up on the big screen here. He's looking for it.
I think it was interesting that Troy Aikman said, you know, I don't know. He said, I don't know whether I did or didn't.
He caught that pass.
He sure did.
That was a good pass. That was an excellent catch.
Well, we don't have replays.
Freddie Banks. Dan. Freddie Banks, well, we'll give him credit for it. He won't get it on the stat sheet, but we'll give him credit for it here. It was good work by Fred Banks digging it out.
Here's Reggie Roby on what will be the final play of the quarter, and Brown had called for the fair catch. There was contact. There is no flag. There's simply a hand down, and they're saying Miami's got it. Dwight Hollier comes away with a football.
Oh, and a rookie's not giving that ball up.
Mike Williams is the guy who dislodged it from Brown.
And that ball's going on that rookie's bookshelf at home, and I don't blame him.
He made a couple of big plays tonight. The rookie from North Carolina. What was the contact? Did he make? There's the fair catch signal.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter, and we'll return with Monday Night Football after this from our ABC station.
Tomorrow, tough times and tough choices from the Clinton Economic Conference. Peter Jennings is there with what it means for you on ABC's World News Tonight from Little Rock.
Wednesday, it is better to give.
I bought my old man a new car.
Than to receive.
You thought that getting me a car would get my mind off the fact that I'm dying.
I'm sorry, all right?
Civil Wars. It only looks like television. Wednesday.
Gigabyte's new location is bigger and better than ever. We beat all mail order and local prices. Visit our new store on Williston Road next to McDonald's or call 864-5001.
Raisin Brans are good for you, but they're all the same. So this is total Raisin Bran, huh? Excuse me while I eat. Crunchy. It's good. Very good. Wow, look at this. Total Raisin Bran has 100% of all these vitamins and minerals. Kellogg's has 100% of just one? That's odd.
Total Raisin Bran. The Raisin Bran with the total difference.
Never thought much about vitamins. Now you got me thinking.
It's time for Foster Motors' big year-end used car and truck sale. Now through December 31st, every used car and truck is on sale. Choose any vehicle over $3,000 and get an additional $500 off. Foster Motors has a huge selection available, like a 1991 Jeep Cherokee Laredo 4x4, a 1991 all-wheel drive Camry, and a 1992 Mercury Grand Marquis, plus over 60 others to choose from. Foster Motors' big year-end used car and truck sale, only at Foster Motors, Route 7 Middlebury.
Catwalk, Saturday nights at 12:30 on WBNY TV.
We start the 4th quarter in Miami. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Deerdorf. It's 17-0. Dolphins. And it's first down. Miami at the 16-yard line. Terry Glenn was shaken up as we went to commercial, but he was able to walk off the field under his own power as Marino throws it away. Steve Jackson closest to him. Closest to the ball, I suppose. And a flag is down. We got a flag down on the other side of the field at the 10-yard line. Holding against Los Angeles. Take a look at the numbers now through the first 45 minutes of
holding
action.
Number 36 on the offense. 5 yards. First down.
All right, Brett. The turnovers belong to the Raiders. 7 of those points of the Miami Dolphins came from the result of a turnover. Obviously, that was the interception by J.B. Brown that was run in for a touchdown that got it started. And it's been pretty much an uphill struggle for the Raiders ever since.
Marino would love to hit Clayton for a touchdown.
Well, that's Clayton in motion, number 83. Instead, it's an inside handoff to Higgs. And Higgs fights his way inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. And a flag is down. Head linesman throwing it. And that one's against Miami.
Procedure call against Don's club. And, you know, this is Marino is putting up quite an argument.
Something to do with the motion on the play, I would suspect. It was Clayton in motion.
Illegal formation. Not 7 men on the line. 5 yards, still first down.
Right. Duper was off the line on the opposite side of the field. Clayton came in motion. And you did not have the required 7 men at the line of scrimmage.
Throws it back to the 16-yard line. Again, the Dolphins, if you missed it earlier in terms of the playoff potential, if they can win 2 of their remaining 3 games, including tonight's game, they are in, period. And they still have a chance to win the AFC East, depending on what they do and Buffalo does. Marino on a backside screen, and that's James Saxon seeing his first action of the night, escaping the first man who was the would-be tackler and picking up a couple of yards.
Saxon, Plan B player from Kansas City. That's only his 4th attempt of the season. Big man, 237-pounder.
4 receptions and 4 rushes for him this year.
The Raider defensive corners are just about as good as you're going to get, and they get that way from a lot of work too, because they play so much man-to-man. You see top of your screen, Lionel Washington, and there he is. So on the other side, there's Terry McDaniel locking up on Clayton and Duper.
Second and 12 at the 13. The fake to Higgs. Marino throws over the middle. The catch is made by Saxon, who reaches but doesn't quite get to the goal line. It'll give him a 1st and goal.
He'll have the first down inside the 1.
And he takes a mega shot from Ronnie Lott and lives to tell about it. It was Lott that did the bouncing off that time. Ronnie comes in, and again, another one of his classic hits on a receiver. Take a look at how Saxon survives this, Frank.
Talking about the size of Saxon, 237 pounds. He put his shoulder down, and he punished Lott that time. Well, how about a dual punishment?
Well, you talked about his size, and it served him well right there.
First and goal. And Higgs gets thrown back by Ronnie Lott.
Boy, isn't it fun to watch him play? I mean,
he does attack, doesn't he?
Some football players. I mean, he plays the way the game is supposed to be played. Look at him take on Saxon. In fact, that was Saxon that he just bounced off before he made the tackle. A little measure of redemption by Ronnie Lott. 10 times to the Pro Bowl.
That's an unbelievable play he just made. Saxon goes about 240. He took him on, knocked him to the side, and made the stop.
The bouncer became the bouncee.
Second and goal. And Marino throws it. It's picked off by Anderson. And Eddie Anderson is out past the 20. The 30. Cuts it back. He's going to pick up some blocking. They take care of Higgs, who was the last man to have a chance at him.
Unbelievable.
And he goes all the way.
Unbelievable. We're going to have a 10-point ball game.
Marino had a couple of passes and perhaps very wisely did not get involved.
102 yards on the interception return.
Jackson was the intended receiver.
Dan just throws it behind Jackson and right into the arms of Eddie Anderson. Marino here is going to force him back to the middle of the field. And here comes the key block. Watch the left. Ronnie Lott picks off Mark Higgs. And that's the reason that Eddie Anderson scores a touchdown.
Marino even slowed it down again.
Ronnie Lott is all over the field for the Raiders. Mark Higgs was going to make the tackle on Eddie Anderson before the block by Lott.
Oh, how many times have you seen a defensive back really set the tone and lift an entire football team? Well, you're watching it tonight.
Well, all of a sudden, Jaeger with the extra point in the history of the Oakland and the Los Angeles Raiders. That is the longest run back ever. 102, Eddie Anderson.
One short of the NFL record.
They're coming out now, is it? Yeah, here they go.
And the winner is Ford Probe GT.
We recently accepted the Motor Trend Car of the Year award. But the real trophy is yours to take home. Ford Probe GT. A lean, carved shape. A button-down cockpit. Pure 24-valve performance. And now, Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Braun introduces Flex Control. The first electric shaver with a pivoting head. Flex Control automatically adjusts to every contour of your face. Under the chin, under the lip, that tricky spot under your nose. You'll get the closest Braun shave yet. Flex Control from Braun, the last word in shavers.
Teach your children well.
Hey, buddy. You gonna do it alone this time?
Did slowly go by. Don't you ever ask them
When the time comes for a man to choose his own brand of underwear, more men choose Fruit of the Loom than any other brand. The reason is simple. Comfort, because that's what real men want. Fruit of the Loom. Clothes for the best of your life.
Well, the Dolphins on the verge of just blowing the Raiders right out of here. And the next thing you know, it's a 10-point game with 11:51 remaining. And, gents, I got to think back to 1988 when we go to Denver and the Broncos lead 24-0. And the Raiders win the game 30-27.
We saw the Raiders lose one like that in Kansas City, where it started with an interception run all the way back for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are the ones that put the comeback on the Raiders.
Last year, Lloyd Burris.
That's right. I would have mentioned who it was, but I forgot.
That's taken by Parmalee, and he'll down it in the end zone. And so, you know, it's such a crazy game. Saxon makes that catch, stretches, misses reaching the goal line by about 2 inches. And the next thing you know,
they try to score a touchdown, and they don't get in because Ronnie Lott makes a tremendous play in repelling Saxon and making the tackle. And then on the next play, on the interception, Lott gets the block that springs it. I mean, it is a game of such. That's where coaches just keep saying you never know when it's going to be your turn, when it'll be your turn to win a ball game for us. And Ronnie Lott is taking turn after turn in trying to win this game for the Raiders.
And this is the time now that Miami has to pull themselves together and get something happening, move it down the field, move the football, move the chains. And it's up to Dan Marino to do it.
And it's up to the Raider defense on the other side. Here's Higgs. He gets 3. Takes it to the 23-yard line. 11:35 remaining in regulation. As we said, Eddie Anderson 102. That's a Raider record. The old mark was held by Mike Haynes, the illustrious defensive back who ran one back in 1984, 97 yards.
Now, even though it was a splendid return by Anderson, the thing you have to keep in mind is that the Raider offense has done absolutely nothing so far. They're not giving Raider fans much of a hope that they can win this game unless Schrader's group really changes form.
And that's almost picked off by Lott. Right there. Right there.
Ronnie Lott was playing that almost as if he was in the huddle. He came up from safety, hid behind a linebacker, waited till the pass was thrown, Marino never even saw him. There he is, just lurking in there.
Ooh, that hurts.
Oh, he should have had it.
That hurts.
There's Anderson out for the moment. 3rd down and 7. Saxon's in there, by the way. Tony Page is on the Dolphin bench and has an ice pack on his leg. The reason that Saxon's in the backfield. And Marino under intense pressure hits Clayton. And Clayton gets tackled by McDaniel, but not until the Dolphins have converted a very big 3rd down.
Very big 3rd down.
Marino automatics with the 9-man up at the line of scrimmage, but Clayton was covered well by McDaniel, and Marino had to wait, and he had to take the hit before he could deliver the ball to Clayton. Great play by Marino.
Nolan Harrison puts a body slam and a half on Dan Marino. Looked like McDaniel lost his footing. Yeah, he did. You should see McDaniel go down. He had to put his left arm down to the turf to remain upright, and that cost him a stride, and that's why Clayton was open.
What a pass, though. All arm by Marino.
Well, Harrison came pretty close to corkscrewing Marino into the ground.
Here's Higgs, and he takes it to the Raider 48-yard line as the Dolphins cross midfield, and we're under 10 minutes to go.
Nolan Harrison that last time almost crossed over what a defensive lineman can do to a quarterback when he picked him up and threw him down like that. I mean, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but on the cutting edge, so to speak.
And they watch Dan Marino as close as they're going to watch any quarterback. Got the man walking the sidelines on the competition committee, Don Shula. You don't spike the franchise and get away with it very often.
2nd and 6 at the LA 48. Marino using almost all of the play clock. Gives it to Higgs. He gets a nice block. And Higgs picks up a 1st down to the Los Angeles 41-yard line.
Yeah, that's great running. Higgs looking inside, nothing there. Spins to the outside, knows where the sticks are, puts the head down, and bowls for the 1st down.
Eddie Anderson finally comes back out onto the field.
Pumped him up again.
Art Shell gave him a little oxygen boost over on the sidelines to.
But it took him about 5 minutes to do it.
That's all right. If I had to run that far, I'd have left on a stretcher. Of course, if I had to run that far, I'd still be running.
You had to run. You had to run that far. We'd all be in St. Louis for the service on Friday.
Dan Marino made a play on you.
You got that right.
1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. There's another flea flicker again. The last one resulted in a touchdown, but the Raiders smell this one out. There's a flag down, and Marino throws it away.
And gets hit anyway.
By McLaughlin, the rookie. And they're both a little slow in coming up.
Well, Dan's slow to come up because he was pressed about 6 inches into the turf.
Lionel Washington, the cornerback, got all tangled up with. They're going to call it against Lionel Washington, I believe. Clayton trying to get deep on the flea flicker.
Holding by the defense. Number 48, 5 yards. Touchdown!
Now Washington was going to get beat, and he knew it. And he
smart play.
Grabbed the receiver. Well, there's 6 points if you don't. Actually, it's Martin, Tony Martin. Watch this. Now, he just grabs him, almost strips the jersey off. This has already been called at this point.
I mean, why give up 5 yards and an automatic 1st down rather than a touchdown?
8:20 to go. 10-point Miami advantage. 1st down at the 36. And this is Bobby Humphrey going next to nowhere, and there is number 42, one Ronnie Lott.
Well, I tell you, you could write a book on safety play and defensive back play just by watching Ronnie Lott tonight.
I'm just proud to sit here and watch it. This is just splendid. Watch this.
He does freelance so much too, but he is such a great student of this game. He works so hard during the week. He knows the frequencies, and you can just sit there and watch him. It's almost as though he's in the huddle.
But Frank, you can do all those things, which he does, and they don't mean anything if you're not tough. To come flying up at that speed, you better be a tough man. Because that hurts. That hurts both people.
Humphrey is the tailback, Saxon is the fullback, and there's the play fake. On 2nd and 9, Marino swings it, and there is Clayton again having a big night. at the 18-yard line, first down.
Oh, he beats one of the best in Terry McDaniel, and Marino times it out beautifully with him. Man for man, tough to do with Mark Clayton, even with Terry McDaniel. McDaniel left out there all alone, as so many times the Raiders DBs are. Total man for man. Great move downfield by Clayton, and a break back to the sidelines. Ball is already in the air. No way McDaniel can get back.
First and 10 at the 18. Higgs. Watson on that tackle as well. Will get an assist anyway at the 15-yard line. Under 7 minutes to play. So the Dolphins doing a couple of things here. Trying to add some insurance, and they're clearly within field goal range, and most importantly taking a lot of time off the clock on this drive.
Yeah, Dan will come up to the center and he'll tick it right down and take the snap, maybe with 2 or 3 seconds remaining on the play clock.
And it's 5:10 at the end of that last play, and he'll take that clock down. There's the play clock in view. They started this drive with 11:51 to play. We're now down to 6:20. Higgs again. There's Lott bouncing off him. When they both bounce off each other, he takes it to the 10, a little short.
That hurt Lott.
Yep. What I said last time, it hurts both parties involved, and that one stung Ronnie. But it goes back to what I said. He is a tough man. Only a tough man can come up and do that. I mean, these are all tough people down on the field. This is not a game where you can't endure a great deal of physical pain to play, because it
look
hurts.
at the great read, too.
But he's exceptional.
Right where it was going.
Yep. He's exceptional among an exceptional group.
What a great shot, too, of him. I mean, walking away from that tackle, he didn't show the pain he felt until he was away from the combat.
3rd and 2 at the 10-yard line. There's Lott right up at the line, but he backs off into coverage, and he somehow backs off and then backs right into the play. Amazing. And the question is, that he pick up the first? It's very close.
He's on the opposite side of the ball, fakes the blitz, backs up into coverage, and then goes across the formation and makes a hit. Other than that, it was just an ordinary play.
And he's about 63 years old.
You can do this, but you have to sacrifice double coverage on the outside when you let your free safety roam like that. Terry McDaniel and Washington are usually going to be locked up head and head.
Very important measurement here.
A little bit short.
They are short. Now, all right, you're 4th down, that many inches to go, and Schulis says go for it. He can kick the field goal and lead by 13, but if they get the touchdown against Davis's Raiders, that's it.
But if you're leading by 13,
no, you got to kick it. I mean, that's what he's sending the field goal team there.
I thought I saw him mouth go for it at first, as if they're supposed to go for it.
I mean, by getting a 13-point lead, you're forcing them to score 2 touchdowns to take the lead. And with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left on the clock, without some sort of a mistake, it doesn't appear likely that the Raider offense is capable of doing that.
Not off what we've seen tonight.
No, you're exactly right. Not off what we've seen.
The ball will be spotted at the 16. It's a 26-yard Stoyanovich kick. Scott Mitchell, who is Marino's backup, to hold.
If this is successful, it really minimizes our chances of overtime.
They are minimized. 4:54 remaining. Miami 20. Los Angeles 7.
Cold filtered. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
It's decision-making time in New Britain, Connecticut.
Wow, look at that socket set.
You see, New Britain's the home of Stanley.
What do you think? The electric stapler or the screwdriver set?
And while it's no easy task,
Glue gun? What glue gun?
making the best possible products all year long,
Oh yeah, moms love these things.
It's even tougher deciding
I just don't know.
which makes the best gift.
Does he have a Stanley garage door opener?
Doesn't everybody?
Look for great gift ideas at the Stanley Gift Center at leading retailers.
As times changed, so did the Ford full-size pickup. But it was always one tough truck, and boy, could it haul a load. Today, it's still tough, but it's designed to ride better. It has more style, more comfort, and boy, can it haul a load. Times change, trucks change, but Ford Tough never does.
The best never rests.
The experts say Dallas is a team of destiny. But before they head to the playoffs, they visit Glanville's gang in Atlanta next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Tomorrow's lineup again, the power-packed ABC Tuesday night lineup, including the Jackie Thomas Show with Tom Arnold.
They called you yet, Dan?
Not yet.
No, I'm waiting, though. My number is the same.
And we take our act to the Georgia Dome next week, where the Dallas Cowboys, coming off their very tough loss yesterday to Washington, take on the Falcons, who bombed Tampa, as Dan mentioned before. Deion Sanders scoring an offensive touchdown on a pass reception yesterday. Dallas, Atlanta next Monday. Stoyanovich kicks off. That's a touchback. Sam Grady just activated from IR. Brings it out to the 20. One other piece of business we should talk about. Meeting in Dallas with the league owners and the management council. It's my understanding, gents, that the proposal as presented, at least in the papers and by the media this week, has no chance of going through. That's not to say they even vote on it, but there seemed to be a lot of indication last week that a collective bargaining agreement was imminent. It appears to be not imminent.
Imminent's not the word.
The talks will be continuing in Dallas, basically is what it is right now. I mean, it's a possibility of a vote, but the talks really are trying to resolve some of the differences that seem to be still remain.
Well, there are a lot of differences. The judge in Minneapolis is waiting to see if the differences are resolved. He's due to rule eventually. Judge Doty. There's a look at some x-rays. Meanwhile, Vince Evans has come into the game for the Raiders. He's the #2 quarterback. So Evans throws as he comes in off the bench, and that pass is dropped by Ethan Horton.
But I understand. I'm sure Vince Evans is a wonderful guy. But Vince Evans is 37 years old. And I guess they're hoping that he could just spark this club here in the waning moments of this ball game. Art Shell's still trying to win at 20-7. 2 touchdowns will do it. But with such limited playing time, only thrown 5 passes all year, you wonder if Jay Schrader, even though the club hasn't moved, is it more capable of winning this ball game.
2nd down and 10. Evans to Marcus Allen. And Allen picks up 5, takes it to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5.
I mean, Vince has attempted 5 passes this entire season, and you toss him into the ball game at this point.
He's completed 11 passes in the last 5 years. There's the 12th. Up to the 30-yard line and forward progress nets him a 1st down. Horton makes the catch.
Beat up on Vince Evans. What we're trying to say is that Schrader probably should still be in the ballgame. You're 2 touchdowns down. Either that or you got a #1 draft pick sitting on the bench that you started earlier in the year. But the explanation was made to us that Vince Evans is the guy they like to bring off the bench. He's a 49% career passer over about a 16-year career. He does this very well.
Yeah, not a bad runner. Well, one-time Chicago Bears starting quarterback Vince Evans after the 47.
The one thing it does say, the one thing it does indicate is how far off the charts Todd Marinovich's stock has dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who was the starter for this franchise and is now 3rd.
Started their playoff game a year ago.
From the 47, Evans throws. There's Allen making the catch, slipping a tackle. And Marcus works his way into Miami territory to the 46-yard line.
I will say this in Evans' behalf. This is the best the Raider offense has looked all night.
3:19 remaining in regulation, 20-7. Schrader looking on. Miami on top by 13.
The other side of that is the Dolphins are falling back in a defense giving the Raiders all these throws underneath. So they're not as contested quite as tightly as they would be in a normal situation.
2nd and 3. And Evans' throw is very low and incomplete as Marcus goes down to attempt to make the catch, argues his case momentarily, but it'll be 3rd down. Take a look at this one again.
Marcus almost pulled that in with one hand, and he usually very stoic about it. But this occasion he did complain. Now he did catch the ground.
That was a good spot by the official, and that's an even better look by our camera crew. Kenny Wolf, our producer, Craig Janoff, our director, and our entire camera and tape crew operating under really adverse conditions tonight.
No further comment. 3rd and 3 at the 47. And that's tipped and nearly picked at the 35. Brian Cox naturally is Brian, don't call me Wally Cox after tonight, batting it, and it's incomplete.
Call him sir after what we've seen tonight.
The adverse conditions, for those of you wondering, the crew had their annual Christmas party last night, and a great many of them, I'm sure, woke up with a partly cloudy day here in Miami, when in reality it was sunny. A lot of sunglasses around the compound.
There was a lot of talent discovered last night.
A lot of sunglasses.
4th and 3 as the Raiders try to keep it going. Obviously they have to go for it. They're down by 13. And Evans gets hit by, of course, Cox.
That's a
the ball
fumble.
is loose. The Raiders, even if they recover, it doesn't mean anything unless they can advance it to what would be a 1st down. And that's the end of the play.
Ethan Horton just tried to throw the ball forward, hoping for the best. And they'll bring it back.
Brian Cox. He's been the big star defensively tonight. Dolphins take over, up by 13.
You're about to see a side of Ranger you never expected. Now, all that famous Ford Ranger muscle comes in a body no one can resist. Introducing the '93 Ford Ranger.
Ford trucks, the best, never rest.
Ranger is how tough looks today.
Good. Now I can go to bed.
Wait a minute. I want to give you a gift while we're alone. Something just for you.
A washer and dryer.
Come on, will you be serious?
Okay.
Close your eyes. Come on. Merry Christmas.
This Christmas, give her the gift of love. Diamonds.
If you give up AT&T quality and call from Phoenix to Dallas with someone else, here's your big savings. Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
There's a party going on right here. A dedication to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too.
Celebrate life with Eden Rock.
Saturday. Merry Christmas. Special guest star Telly Savalas joins the commish Saturday.
Brian Cox out of Western Illinois, 5th round draft choice last year.
Dolphins 1 away now from assuring themselves at least a wild card spot, and they play the Jets, and then they will have New England.
And here is Mark Higgs as the Dolphins have taken over on downs. He takes it to the 30-yard line.
Well, I think we got a Raider who took a pretty good hit there. Winston Moss, or was it Anthony Bell? Anthony Bell got up, and he's a bit hobbled. Good for him. I thought originally he took a shot to the knee. Well, we have seen some stellar football play tonight by Ronnie Lott for the Raiders and Brian Cox for the Dolphins defensively. It's been fun to watch these guys.
Mark Higgs coming out, shaken up, and He made some fine runs tonight, too.
That's the reason for the momentary stoppage of the clock. Now they'll wind it again, and the Raiders will have to take their timeouts defensively at some point. 2:19 to go, and what are you going to tell us, Red?
I think Red's confused.
If the Raiders want a timeout, they should reset the clock back to where it was when Higgs was coming off the field. Okay, Big Red, what's cooking?
Will the time clock please say 2:18? The 25-second clock should be 21.
I've always wondered if these guys really know that exactly, or if they just, I mean, how does he know the play clock should say 21?
He calls London and he asks for Greenwich.
We get Frank's house.
Yeah.
2:03 area
Please make the game clock 23 seconds.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
23. See, I knew it. My internal timing device told me that.
Yeah.
My internal timing device normally tells me it's time to eat.
Your body clock is ticking.
Talk about what the Dolphins have to do in the remainder of their season. Boy, it's going to be a tough couple of weeks for the Raiders. They're eliminated tonight from the playoff possibilities. They have to go home and play San Diego. They lost to them 2 weeks ago, 27-3, and then following Saturday they play Washington in Washington.
2nd and 2. Humphrey to the 28. That's the 2-minute warning. Don't say we didn't warn you. 20-7 Miami.
Have you heard about the new movie Toys?
Toys! Cars exploding! Boom! Incredible effects! How do you feel? Woozy. Actual funny scenes.
Look at that. They really are deviled eggs.
Toys! They're coming. Toys!
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
With cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, the world's a very cool place.
Introducing Ford Taurus SHO and the craving. If you've had a craving for a truly sophisticated performance sedan, may we suggest our 24-valve, 220-horsepower Taurus SHO, now available with automatic transmission. Think of it as caviar for the power-hungry.
Class portrait, part of the defensive unit. Marco Coleman is number 90, and Dwight Hollier, number 50, is in the shot. Roosevelt Collins and Larry Webster. Troy Vincent, our executive producer, Jack O'Hara. Tonight's game, so brilliantly produced as always by Ken Wolf and directed by Craig Janoff and the rest of our gang. Joey Chavo, our technical director.
Ben Harvey, our associate director. Dick and Emily.
Producing halftime, Fred King, Mitch Green.
They were there to the end.
Yes, sir.
Creative talent.
Still here. 28-yard line. Moreno with 1:58 to go as the Dolphins will try to run out the clock, and Humphrey takes it inside the flank, takes it all the way to the 13-yard line. And the rest of our illustrious crew, as you look at the names roll by. Our thanks to our booth crew, Kirsten Anderson, the kennel keeper up here, George Hill as always, doing a great job with our stats, and Malibu Kelly Hayes, our spotter. The Raiders have taken a timeout. 1:36 to play. Crowd has just about vacated. They go home happy knowing that their Dolphins are just about in the playoffs.
Well, and it's difficult. Oh, and there goes Billy Edwards.
Does he remember being there to the end?
our sideline coordinator, 80 years young.
He is a beauty.
Let's take a look at this playoff picture right now. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City can all win their division titles. It's in their hands. The blue teams, Miami, as you read across, Houston and San Diego, can get into the playoffs, and they can determine that by themselves. Indianapolis, Cleveland, and still Denver at this point have chances to go in, but need help. And tonight, with this loss, the Raiders are mathematically out.
And of the two divisions, the East and the West, the division championship is still very much up for grabs. Right. Miami can win the East, and San Diego can win the West.
Pittsburgh, of course, has already clinched in the Central.
Miami can win by winning their next 2 games, and while Buffalo would have to lose either New Orleans or Houston.
Here's Humphrey. You know, the interesting thing about Pittsburgh, and keep in mind, since the NFL went to the expanded playoff format a couple of years ago, the Raiders take a timeout. Just because you win your division doesn't mean you get that first round bye. The team with the worst division winning record still must play that first round game, albeit at home, but only the top 2 teams, the top 2 division winners, get that week off.
And right now that would be the AFC Western Division champion and the NFC Central Division champion.
We'll take a look at the in the NFC. Just basically, not to burden you with it in terms of reading a lot of statistics and things at this particular point, but Philly, Washington next week. That's the vital game. The winner of that game is going to go in. Of course, the 49ers are on their way to home field. Clayton's had a big night. And Dallas, well, with that loss yesterday, all of a sudden, they're now in a scramble to make sure that they get that first week off. They'll be in Atlanta next week, and then they close their season against Chicago in Dallas.
How about Chicago yesterday? Sending Mike Singletary out in style with that, not just eking out a victory over Pittsburgh. I mean, they thrashed them pretty good.
Yep. On 2nd and 9, it's Humphrey taking it inside the 10-yard line to the 9, and the Raiders will spend their last time out.
Well, it was a pretty good run for Archell's club, considering that they opened up at 0-4 and in it until the 14th week of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about the youth of the Miami Dolphins and on the rise, certainly defensively, with the youngest defensive team in the AFC. This is the oldest team in the NFL, the Raiders, 29-point-something years. And where do you start to build? Of course, they're unique in how they build and have under Al Davis for so many years by picking up players from other teams, plan B, taking players that just have worn out their usefulness somewhere else. But that's not so easy to do anymore. There's very few secrets around this league about personnel.
10 years or more on their roster. The punter, Gossett, Vince Evans, Eric Dickerson, Mark Allen, Ronnie Lott, Dave Waymer, Lionel Washington, Max Montoya, Don Mosbar, Howie Long, Reggie McElroy, Bob Golick, Willie Gault have all been in the league 10 years or longer. And you're looking at pretty good transformation coming up.
That's ancient. I mean, those are all fine football players and still productive. But for how much longer? That's the question.
Humphrey. Oh, Humphrey trying to drag a Raider into the end zone and can't. He stopped at the 1-yard line. Anthony Bell averts the touchdown for the moment. And now the only question the crowd has is, do the Dolphins just kneel down and say thank you very much, or do they go for it?
I think they'll kneel down. Don Shula's that kind of guy.
Well, they have. Points scored does figure into the tie-breaking formula somewhere down the line. I mean, I don't think that by running it into the end zone here, I don't believe you've hurt anybody's feelings. I don't think that's really a factor here. I'd run it in and I'd score a touchdown.
It was a great effort by Bobby Humphrey again. Sick this past week with the flu.
These are all big boys.
And even the old ONU doesn't come into play here tonight.
Shula being a gentleman.
Yep.
But if he'd have stuffed it in there, it's not a question that Art Shell gets angry or. Well, the Miami Dolphins needed a win in the worst way tonight for many reasons, not the least of which was this was a team that was showing signs of unraveling a bit, and they have come together in a big win.
I'm glad I'm not flying to LA tonight. That will be long.
Oh, you haven't heard yet? We'll be back.